Chapter 31, Scouter Glasses. Chapter 31, Scouter Glasses. Translator, Zayamoj. While possessing Robot Bonney, 3796 handed Yang Feng a pair of silver glasses. Master, the Scouter glasses that you requested are ready. Yang Feng put on the silver glasses and thought, make a data analysis of me. Yang Feng, basic attributes, strength 0.63, agility 0.74, physique 0.62, spirit 0.85. New novel chapters are published on freewebnovel.com. Bloodline, Earthling Waste. Soul aptitude, inferior level 1. General evaluation, classified as a level 0 lifeform. Evolution potential, small. The silver glasses flashed brightly and quickly listed a series of words. Yang Feng muttered somewhat gloomily, level 0 lifeform, it's really awful. After adjusting his frame of mind, he looked at Xuanhuan sitting beside him and started the scanning ability of the silver glasses again. Scanning Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan. Basic attributes. Strength 1.5, agility 1.6, physique 2.1, spirit 3.5. Bloodline. The data in the database is insufficient. According to the analysis of the known data, the life form possess formidable bloodline. Natural charm. With this innate ability, people will have a favorable impression of her at first sight. She is extremely attractive to males. Soul aptitude, superior level 8. freewebnovel.com. General evaluation, currently classified as a level 1 life form. The life form possess tremendous evolution potential. Yang Feng's eyes erupted with scorching light, and he mused excitedly, superior level 8 soul aptitude. So terrifying. This is a freak-level cultivation talent. Sure enough, my luck isn't bad. In the Turandot Subcontinent, cultivators with level 7 soul aptitude were as rare as a feather of a phoenix or a horn of a unicorn. Cultivators with superior level 8 soul aptitude, even during the times of the 8 Warlock Dynasties, would be peak existences, the darlings of those times. Xuanhuan seemed to sense Yang Feng scanning her status. She turned towards him and smiled sweetly, brimming with charm. His heart stirred slightly, and he had difficulty controlling himself. By relying on his strong willpower, Yang Feng tore his gaze away from Xuanhuan. His mind was in turmoil. That won't do. The status of an Earthling waste is really awful. Things can't go on like this. Otherwise, if an enchantress casually cast a charm spell on me, I will be reduced to the other party's slave. After he got the Scouter glasses, under Robot Bonney's guidance, Yang Feng began to practice the most basic cultivation method to advance to an apprentice warlock body tempering. Apprentice warlocks were the lowest existences among warlocks. However, becoming an apprentice warlock wasn't so simple either. The physical constitution of an apprentice warlock had to reach the level of a knight rank powerhouse before they could begin learning apprentice warlock knowledge. Without a strong body, it was impossible to bear the burden from the high-intensity learning that was characteristic of apprentice warlock knowledge. As for bloodline warlocks who had to transplant the bloodline from formidable life forms, it was impossible to bear the impact that came with the transplant without a sturdy body. Ordinary people who transplanted the bloodline of a too powerful life form would explode and die. Based on Earthling Waste's attributes, it was practically impossible for him to promote to a knight rank powerhouse on the merit of his own hard work. However, the means of an official level 1 warlock were exceedingly frightening. Every day, Robot Bonney would squander large amounts of resources without hesitation in order to refine some of the most basic body-strengthening elixirs and slowly strengthen Yang Feng's body. 3 days later, an enormous griffin flew towards the Black City. There were 2 people sitting on the griffin, the level 2 warlock Utarax and Alan. Halt! Get down! Otherwise, we'll regard you as an enemy and shoot. A level 4-bladed robot at the gate raised its head and roared in a synthetic voice. The anti-aircraft cannons quickly adjusted and began to lock on the griffin in the sky. Utarax suddenly had a premonition of danger. He creased his eyebrows and pulled the reins, and the griffin went down. Utarax sized the level 4-bladed robots guarding the gate up and quickly found a series of shortcomings. These are the golems of the Steel Lord Yang Yi? The workmanship is very crude, the dynamical system is far from the standard of the 6th Warlock Dynasty, and the style is very different. Level 4-bladed robots were intentionally simplified crude versions in order to pursue production volume and speed, so the level 4-bladed robots had a lot of shortcomings. However, using them to crash ordinary people below the knight rank was not an issue. But they had a hard even when dealing with a level 1 apprentice warlock. Alan walked out from behind Utarax and said towards the 8-bladed robots guarding the gate. I am Alan, the emissary that was sent on a diplomatic mission towards the Warlock College Antalya. This is the esteemed emissary of the Warlock College Antalya, the level 2 warlock Sir Utarax. Please let us in. The level 4-bladed robot pointed towards a passage covered with all kinds of scanning equipment, saying, I'm really sorry, Sir Alan. Due to assassins, everyone has to pass the scan in order to enter the Black City. Please go get scanned. Alan turned around and uttered apologetically, Sir Utarax, I'm very sorry. Because we entered a state of was with the Fernandro Principality not long ago, we have no choice but to be cautious. Please come with me. Utarax was displeased, yet he still nodded and followed Alan into the passage. When they entered the passage, scanning fluctuation shot out of radar-like apparatuses, enveloped Alan and Utarax, and begun to thoroughly scan them. Utarax, basic attributes, strength 21.6, agility 21.9, physique 30.7, spirit 36.5, bloodline, ordinary human bloodline, soul aptitude, superior level 5, general evaluation, classified as a level 8 life form, a level 2 warlock. Utarax's data was quickly transmitted to Yang Feng. So powerful! Yang Feng looked at Utarax's data, and his eyes flashed with shock. Utarax's physical constitution was dozens of times higher than Yang Feng's. Relying on his body alone, Utarax was a humanoid freak. This was the terror of a warlock, a level 2 warlock. After being scanned, Alan took Utarax towards the Warlock Tower. Warlock's Eye. Utarax conjured the level 1 spell Warlock's Eye, and a huge eye suddenly appeared above his head and looked around. Chapter 32, Utarax. Chapter 32, Utarax. Translator, Zayamoj. Utarax still had a very important task in coming to the Black City, which was to spy on the city. Under the spying gaze of the Warlock's Eye, the scenes of the surrounding several kilometers entered his eyes. At this moment, the entire Black City was still in the remodeling stage, with a permanent defensive fort being built on every street. Each permanent defensive fort contained 3 anti-aircraft cannons, 3 battalion cannons, 1 multiple rocket launcher, and 6 12.7mm heavy machine guns. The entire Black City was like an enormous military fortress littered with all kinds of cannons and artilleries. Utarax's scalp became slightly numb at this sight. With his strength, a cannon couldn't wound him in the slightest. However, with 100 or 1,000 cannons firing simultaneously, he would be blasted into tatters if he didn't escape. As he observed the Black City via Warlock's Eye, he mused, unless His Excellency Dean personally steps in, it will be very difficult to capture the Black City even if Sir Scarlet Hand's blitz attacks with a team. It seems like the Steel Lord did indeed obtain a part of the inheritance of the 6th Warlock Dynasty's Mechanical Legion. After crossing a number of streets, Utarax's group of 2 entered the Warlock Tower and then arrived at the main hall on the 3rd floor. I am the Steel Lord Yang Yi. Welcome, Utarax. Please sit. Wrapped in synthetic human skin and adorned with artificial eyes, a brawny man formed by a liquid metal robot sitting on a throne smiled lightly at Utarax. Beside Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi stood 8 level 7 battle robots, 4 level 7 bladed robots, 2 level 7 gunner robots, and 2 level 7 shielded robots respectively. The 8 level 7 battle robots going all out to defend him were enough to let Yang Feng quickly escape the scene if attacked. The 8 level 7 battle robots were supposed to be 5 to 6 meter tall giant robots. However, in order to be able to act freely within the Warlock Tower, they were shrunk to 3 meters tall during manufacturing. As a result, their fighting prowess was weakened by a lot, but they still possessed the frightening strength to kill level 7 life forms. Utarax took out the agreed-upon contract and handed it to Alan. "Hello, Yang Yi. I am the Warlock College Antalya's Utarax. I'm happy to meet you. This is our agreed-upon contract. Please sign it if everything checks out." Alan stepped forward and handed Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi the contract. After carefully reading the contract and finding no loophole, Yang Yi signed his name on it. "Utarax, what do you think of these two golems?" Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi waved his hand and two level 7-bladed robots stepped into the center of the main hall. Utarax carefully looked at the two level 7-bladed robots. The two level 7-bladed robots didn't have human shapes. Rather, the upper body was in the shape of a human, yet it possessed 8 arms equipped with long alloy blades as well as a number of insect-like compound eyes and a serrated maw on its head. Its lower body was in the shape of a tiger-like beast with a very sharp lance-like tail. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi snapped his fingers, and the two level 7-bladed robots started fighting frenziedly. Ding, 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 ding. Ear-piercing sounds of metal clashing echoed in the area. The two level 7-bladed robots, as if extremely savage mechanical battle beats, fought frenziedly and unscrupulously, looking dazzling to the eye. So strong. The fighting strength of the two golems is comparable to that of pinnacle level 1 warlocks. Utarax watched the two level 7-bladed robots fighting with a grave look in his eyes. After they fought for more than 10 seconds, Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi clapped his hands, and the two level 7-bladed robots stopped immediately. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi looked at Utarax with a smile on his face. Utarax uttered unhurriedly, "Amazing! The fighting strength of the two golems is comparable to that of pinnacle level 1 warlocks." Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi smiled and asked, "How about I give you these two golems?" Utarax pondered for a moment before replying decisively, "Okay. However, what do you want in return?" With their fighting strength comparable to that of pinnacle level 1 warlocks, the two golems were very useful to the level 2 warlock Utarax. The golems were convenient for dealing with a large number of enemies or exploring some dangerous areas. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi smiled, clapped his hands, and his true body slowly walked in. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi pointed at his true body and said unhurriedly, "This is Yang Feng, my only kin. He wants to practice cultivation and tread the warlock path, but his talent is too poor. I hope that you can take care of him when he cultivates at the Warlock College Antalya." Yang Feng put his right hand on his chest, bowed in salute towards Utarax and said, "Well met, Sir Utarax. I am Yang Feng, Sir Steel Lord Yang Ye's nephew." Utarax was a genuine level 2 warlock, and he was a level 2 warlock from the Warlock College Antalya to boot. He was very strong. Yang Feng didn't want to be discourteous in front of such a formidable warlock. Utarax looked at Yang Feng, and his eyes radiated dark green light that enveloped Yang Feng. Yang Feng immediately felt his body sink, and he was practically unable to breathe, move, or think. His life was within Utarax's grasp. His body spasmed, and fear spread from the deepest recesses of his heart all the way until his limbs. The most up-to-date novels are published on freewebnovel.com. This terrifying feeling lasted for 10 seconds before fading away. Drenched in sweat, Yang Feng gasped for air, and his legs shook like leaves and his eyes flickered with fear. His heart was filled with fear. So strong. Is this the strength of a level 2 warlock? So formidable. That's an extraordinary life form who exceeded the limitations of humans for you. Only when facing them can you really feel their terror. Utarax frowned, muttered for a while, and then said unhurriedly, "Yang Yi, your nephew's soul aptitude is only at inferior level 1. With such a soul aptitude, just becoming an apprentice warlock will be very difficult, let alone an official level 1 warlock. Even if he joins the Warlock College Antalya, it would still be very difficult for him to become an official level 1 warlock." Yang Feng's heart sunk. Utarax was a level 2 warlock from Warlock College Antalya. A level 2 warlock with a powerful inheritance god knows how many times stronger than a wandering level 2 warlocks without an inheritance. Since Utarax said that it was very difficult for him to become a level 1 warlock, then it really was very difficult. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi said firmly in a deep voice. He is my only kin in this world. Whatever the cost, I will help him become an official level 1 warlock. The Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir can alter a person's soul aptitude. So long as he can promote to a level 1 warlock, then no matter how many vials of the Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir it takes, I will get them for him. Chapter 33, Transaction. Chapter 33, Transaction. Translator, Zayamoj. Is this kid Yang Ye's bastard? Euterax wondered as he shot Yang Feng a surprised glance. Euterax uttered unhurriedly, any elixir has its limits, and taking more will give rise to elixir resistance. His cultivation aptitude is truly too low. Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir can promote his soul aptitude to superior level 2 at most. Even with the inheritance of the Warlock College Antalya, a person with superior level 2 soul aptitude can cultivate until level 2 or level 3 apprentice warlock at most. Additionally, to promote his soul aptitude from inferior level 1 to superior level 2 would require at least 50 vials of Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir. Each vial of Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir is worth 5,000 magic stones. So 50 vials of Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir would require a total of 250,000 magic stones. One magic stone was equivalent to 100 gold coins or 200,000 copper coins. 250,000 magic stones was equivalent to 50 billion copper coins. Such a huge sum was needed just to promote Yang Feng's soul aptitude from inferior level 1 to superior level 2. The cost involved in promoting soul aptitude was incredible. Because of this, even if it was their kin, warlocks generally wouldn't let them embark on the warlock path if their soul aptitude was too lacking. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi said solemnly, even so, I will never give up. Euterax, I want to obtain formulas of some soul aptitude strengthening elixirs. Can you help me purchase a few? I'll give you a satisfactory price. Euterax smiled slightly and said, the formulas of soul aptitude strengthening elixirs are extremely precious. At hand, I only have one such formula, the Siren Tears. However, I want to remind you that the Siren Tears is an elixir formula passed down from the second Warlock Dynasty, and many of its ingredients are specialties from other planes. For close to 1,000 years, no one in the Turandot Subcontinent has successfully refined this elixir. Even so, if you want this elixir formula, you have to pay me 10,000 magic stones. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi said resolutely, I want it. Deduct the 10,000 magic stones from the Fernandro family's war reparations. Within the Turandot Subcontinent, all knowledge was controlled by warlock groups, and every bit of knowledge that ordinary people wanted to learn had to be paid for with a large sum of money or the corresponding number of magic stones. Euterax opened his hand and a piece of yellow paper appeared on it. Then, apparently grabbed by Mage Hand, the yellow paper flew towards Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi looked at the formula. The formula was quickly scanned and entered into the database, and then its analysis began. Euterax smiled lightly, saying, Yang Yi, I'll take care of your nephew in the Warlock College Antalya as much as possible. Yang Feng's avatar, the Steel Lord Yang Yi, was a terrifying alchemist who could easily kill level 2 warlocks. Naturally, Euterax was willing to make friends with such a powerhouse. Apart from some naturally reclusive warlocks, warlocks emphasized greatly on the interaction with and befriending of other warlocks. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi also smiled lightly, saying, then I'll have to trouble you. Oh, by the way, my nephew is currently tempering his body to charge to the knight rank. The inheritance I got isn't that good, and there are no good secret methods to break through to the knight rank either. Could you give my nephew some pointers? Euterax pondered for a moment, then extended his hand, and a secret manual appeared in his hand. A mage hand grabbed the secret manual and sent it towards Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi. This is a part of the Magic Note's Titan art that can be cultivated until the level 3 Warlock rank. This peerless secret method passed down by the 7th Warlock Dynasty, the Magic Note Dynasty, has boundless might. Although you won't be able to promote to an official warlock without the blood essence of titans of the Plane of Giants, but this secret method lays a good foundation. So long as you're willing to spend some resources, your nephew should be able to promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock within 3 years' time. Many powerful secret methods were handed down from the 8 Warlock dynasties. However, those powerful secret methods, along with the changing of the times, gradually turned into remains only suitable for reference. Even so, the Magic Notes Titan art was still a number of times better than the Thunder Ox art handed down in Zhao Zhang's family. With his cultivation aptitude, when practicing the Thunder Ox art optimized by 3796, Yang Feng had no hope of advancing to a knight rank powerhouse during his lifetime. When practicing the Magic Notes Titan art, on the other hand, he could promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock within 3 years' time. This illustrated the tremendous gap between the two secret methods. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi tossed the Magic Notes Titan art towards his true body and said in a deep voice, "Hurry up and thank Sir Uterax." Yang Feng's true body respectfully saluted Uterax, saying, "Many thanks, Sir Uterax." Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi asked, "This Magic Notes Titan art is very precious. Uterax, how much do you want for it?" Uterax replied with a smile, "I promise to look after your nephew. This little gift is nothing." The power of the Magic Notes Titan art was boundless. Even within the 7th Warlock Dynasty, it was one of the peak secret methods. However, it was basically impossible to get your hands on Titan blood essence in the Turandot Subcontinent, so the value of this unique secret method wasn't high. My nephew has a little girlfriend who has a very outstanding cultivation aptitude. I want to find a powerful secret method for her. This golem is a small gift from me. I hope it's to your liking. Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi clapped his hands, and a level 7 shielded robot stepped towards the center of the reception hall. A level 7 bladed robot brandished its 8 superalloy blades and mercilessly hacked at the level 7 shielded robot from 8 direction. Update D from FREOUBnovel.com. The level 7 shielded robot raised its shield, and a formidable transparent energy shield appeared in front of it in a split second. The alloy blades of the level 7 bladed robot mercilessly hacked at the transparent energy shield and set off ripples. Yet it couldn't harm the level 7 shielded robot in the slightest. When he saw the level 7 shielded robot release the formidable energy shield, Uterax's eyes immediately flashed with a brilliant gleam, and he looked at the level 7 shielded robot with desire in his eyes. The defensive strength of this energy shield is comparable to that of a level 2 defensive spell. No, its defensive strength should be comparable to that of a pinnacle level 2 defensive spell. In the world of Warlocks, defensive secret treasures were more popular than offensive secret treasures. A golem with a defensive strength comparable to that of a level 2 spell could even save Uterax's life in a pinch. This is the West Extreme Cold Ice Phoenix art. It's a peerless secret method handed down by the 7th Warlock Dynasty, the Magic Note Dynasty, most suitable for females to cultivate. I obtained this secret method on one of my travels. However, this is only a part of the whole secret method, and can only be cultivated until the level 1 Warlock rank. The parts for the level 2 Warlock and upwards, as far as I know, only the Savage Claw's level 3 Warlock Ice Blue Maiden as well as the Snow White Tower's Great Warlock Snow White Madam have them. The West Extreme Cold Ice Phoenix art is a secret method that can be practiced without any requirements in terms of bloodline. If your nephew's little girlfriend ever needs to change secret methods, it won't be too difficult. You can let her first cultivate this method until she promotes to a level 1 Warlock and then have her change secret methods. Uterax thought for a moment. With a flick of his wrist, a secret manual appeared in his hand, and he handed it to Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi via Mage Hand. Chapter 34: Bloodline Secret Methods vs. Orthodox Secret Methods. Chapter 34: Bloodline Secret Methods vs. Orthodox Secret Methods. Translator: Zayamoj. Yang Feng has learned a lot of basic warlock knowledge under Robot Bonney's guidance these days. I seek truth and pursue eternity in the darkness. This was a famous saying of the first Warlock Emperor, the Time Lord. Countless Warlocks revered this saying truthful. The ultimate goal of Warlocks was to acquire eternity. In order to acquire eternity, countless Warlocks left their tracks over countless planes, absorbing their knowledge and seizing their life forms to carry out bloodline remodeling, taboo research, soul research, golem manufacturing, and other kinds of research. Secret methods were cultivation methods that Warlocks devised after absorbing the knowledge from countless planes. Secret methods were divided into two categories: bloodline secret methods and orthodox secret methods. Bloodline secret methods were special secret methods that could be cultivated after you transplanted the bloodline of a formidable life form, transforming yourself into a powerful life form. This category of secret methods reached maturity after the Second Warlock Dynasty made countless advancements and created countless freaks. Prior to the Second Warlock Dynasty, practically all warlocks practiced orthodox secret methods. Different from orthodox secret methods, bloodline secret methods came with great power and amazing cultivation speed. You just had to transplant the bloodline of a formidable life form and withstand its power. With the same resources, the cultivation speed of bloodline warlocks could be 10 times as fast as that of orthodox warlocks. However, practicing bloodline secret methods had its limitations. That is, once you transplanted a bloodline, it would be difficult to change it. Additionally, bloodlines had their own evolution potential. Once the evolution potential of the transplanted bloodline was depleted, the cultivator would be restricted by the bloodline and would find it very difficult to advance any further. Orthodox secret methods didn't have such limitations. If a cultivator practicing an orthodox secret method was dissatisfied with their secret method, they could switch to another secret method at any time, and could even cultivate 2 or 3 different secret methods that didn't conflict with each other at the same time. Of course, there was still a certain price to pay when changing secret methods. The Magic Notes Titan art was a formidable bloodline secret method, while the West Extreme Cold Ice Phoenix art was a formidable orthodox secret method. Both secret methods were many times more powerful than the secret methods of the Black Cottage. The West Extreme Cold Ice Phoenix art was particularly special. Even though it could only be cultivated until the level 1 Warlock rank, but it could already become an inheritance secret method of a small Warlock family. As for Knight cultivation secret methods, they were in fact a branch of body-tempering Warlock cultivation. The physical constitution of a Knight was equivalent to that of a level 1 apprentice Warlock, while the physical constitution of a Sky Knight was equivalent to that of a level 1 Warlock. The source of this content is frioebnovel.com. Both parties got what they wanted. After some small talk, they began to exchange their cultivation experiences. With Robot Bonney's memories as reference, Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi inquired Utarax about a lot of snags related to the cultivation of level 1 Warlocks. As he gave Yang Yi pointers on issues regarding the cultivation of level 1 Warlocks, Utarax confirmed that Yang Feng's avatar Yang Yi was really just at the level 1 Warlock rank. They had a nice conversation. 2 days later, Utarax left the Black City. Inside the master bedroom on the 3rd floor of the Warlock Tower, sitting on a sofa draped in white bear fur, Yang Feng's true body heaved a sigh of satisfaction, and then uttered unhurriedly, "For now, the war has come to an end. Now that we gained some time of respire, we can begin with the construction of fortified strongholds." 3796 asked, "Where shall the fortified strongholds be built?" Standing to the side, Robot Bonney's eyes flashed and emitted 2 light rays that formed the map of Yang Feng's sphere of influence in midair. freewebnovuel.com. Yang Feng replied, "Build a mobile fortified stronghold in the giant stone city and a permanent fortified stronghold in the Black City. However, there's no need to build a matter and energy converter in the Black City's fortified stronghold. A matter and energy converter was the core component of a production stronghold. In 3790 SIXS database, there was a great number of technological creations that exceed this era. However, due to the lack of materials, those formidable technological creations could not be produced en masse. Matter and energy converters could convert energy into a variety of materials. With such a machine, you could produce more formidable battle robots as well as other technological creations on a large scale. Currently, there was no lack of steel or energy to build a level 1 mobile fortified stronghold. The only thing he lacked was dimensional crystals, which could slowly be produced via 3790 SIXS build-in matter and energy converter. If there was a large matter and energy converter, it would be easy to produce dimensional crystals. Yang Feng's intention behind building a mobile fortified stronghold was to take it along and escape if he ever came across some being that he could not resist. With a large mobile fortified stronghold, no matter where he went, he could quickly make a comeback. Understood. What should be the distribution ratio of resources for the construction of the mobile fortified stronghold? Once the distribution ratio of resources is fixed, then it'll take 1 month of modulation and application to adjust the distribution ratio. Yang Feng said, list the construction time for the distributions of resources at 50% and higher. With the distribution ratio of resources at 50%, it will take 3,712 days to complete the construction. With the distribution ratio of resources at 60%, it will take 3,421 days to complete the construction. With the distribution ratio of resources at 70%, it will take 3,012 days to complete the construction. With the distribution ratio of resources at 80%, it will take 2,512 days to complete the construction. With the distribution ratio of resources at 90%, it will take 1,900 days to complete the construction. With the distribution ratio of resources at 100%, it will take 1,221 days to complete the construction. 10 years? So long. Yang Feng frowned slightly and asked, if I were to obtain dimensional crystals, how long would the construction time be then? Less than 20 days. If you get enough dimensional crystals, I can produce a mobile fortified stronghold within 20 days. Yang Feng made a decision. Then let the distribution ratio of resources be at 50%. 50% of resources will be used in the construction of a mobile fortified stronghold, and the remaining 50% of resources will use to expand Yang Feng's mechanical legion as well as promote his true body strength. If all the resources were invested into the construction of the mobile fortified stronghold, then he wouldn't be able to build new battle robots. He would be stuck with the mechanical legion he could employ at the moment. In that case, his mechanical legion could even be wiped out entirely if he ran into a great warlock rank powerhouse. 3796 said, yes, I will immediately start the construction of a mobile fortified stronghold in the giant stone city. You'll be in charge when I go to the Warlock College Antalya to study. Okay, I will strictly implement the procedures that you formulated. Chapter 35 Hunting Fang's Wilderness. Chapter 35 Hunting Fang's Wilderness. Translator, Zayamoj. To get to the Warlock College Antalya from the Fernandro Principality, Cineris Principality, and Potent Principality, you had to cross the Hunting Fang's Wilderness, which belonged to the Cineris Principality. With its strange climate, the Hunting Fang's Wilderness was basically incapable of growing foodstuff. The Cineris Principality was an agriculture-oriented state. Therefore, there were only a few large pastures in the Hunting Fang's Wilderness, while the rest was neglected. Countless criminals, thugs, and scum from the 3 principalities converged and formed violent bandit groups within the Hunting Fang's Wilderness, threatening the people going to the Warlock College Antalya. Whenever the bandits' forces thrived, the Warlock College Antalya would send powerful warlocks to do a cleanup. However, it was impossible to completely eliminate the bandits. Every time a batch of bandits was exterminated, another would sprout out after a period of time, never to be completely eliminated. The bandits were fierce outlaws. Each year, there were many people of the 3 principalities dying tragically at the bandits' hands en route to the Warlock College Antalya. Thus, the Hunting Fang's Wilderness was an extremely dangerous place in the eyes of ordinary people. A huge convoy slowly moved along a road of the Hunting Fang's Wilderness. There was a total of over 500 carriages in the convoy. Each carriage was modified, making it faster and longer, and was filled with goods. The convoy was escorted by more than 2,000 people. Stop! A voice reverberated in the convoy, and the huge convoy halted its movement. Skilled cooks came down from a carriage, took out various tools, and started cooking. The door of a modified, luxurious carriage opened, and Yang Feng alighted the carriage. Like a fairy, Xuanhuan jumped down from the carriage lively and followed closely after Yang Feng as if his tail. A small practice field littered with all kinds of weapons was already erected. Yang Feng strode into the small practice field, where 4 expressionless robots were waiting with clubs in their hands. Come at me! Yang Feng went to the center of the small practice field, took a deep breath, and operated the magic notes Titan art, and his muscles stretched taut and bulged slightly. The four expressionless robots immediately started to mercilessly flog Yang Feng with clubs from different directions. The Magic Notes Titan art was a formidable secret method that served to imitate giants, and its core cultivation concept lied in treating the practitioner like a piece of iron. After enduring numerous strikes, the body's potential would be stimulated, and the body would be tempered into steel. Under the numerous strikes, Yang Feng felt bursts of pain come from his entire body. But once he operated the Magic Notes Titan art, the pain was turned into warm currents flowing within his body. After being flogged for 5 minutes, the badly battered Yang Feng quickly took out a vial of healing water, which cost 20 gold coins per vial, and downed it in one go. Once the healing water entered his body, it started to immediately heal his injuries. The Magic Notes Titan art was a secret method that required the consumption of large amounts of money to be practiced. Without the help of the healing water, Yang Feng would need to rest for 30 days in order to recover from this thrashing. Additionally, a misstep during his cultivation could leave internal injuries behind. Zhao Jiang, a lesser aristocrat, had less than 500 gold coins as his savings. Ordinary people even more so couldn't afford healing water, which cost 20 gold coins per vial. So comfortable. After practicing cultivation, my whole body feels comfortable and energetic. My body feels so much better than before. No wonder there are so many cultivation fanatics in the world. Such cultivation is indeed addictive. Feeling warm, comfortable, he squinted his eyes and began to scan his status. Yang Feng, basic attributes, strength 0.73, agility 0.84, physique 0.72, spirit 0.9. Bloodline, good-for-nothing Earthling. Soul aptitude, inferior level 1. General evaluation, classified as a level 0 lifeform. Evolution potential, small. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a trace of excitement. Apart from an increase of 0.05 in spirit force, the other attributes rose by 0.1. Sure enough, Magic Notes Titan art lives up to its name. Lately, Yang Feng has been always practicing Magic Notes Titan art. In 10 days' time, his attributes rose by 0.1. His physical constitution was upgraded by close to 20% within this short period of time. Although he was still a waste, but he could already feel the benefits of cultivation. Yang Feng looked at Xuanhuan with a look of jealousy in his eyes and unleashed the scan. Unfortunately, compared with her, my progress isn't worth mentioning. A superior level, 8 soul aptitude sure is perverse. Xuanhuan, basic attributes, strength 2.5, agility 2.6, physique 3.1, spirit 4.5. Bloodline, the database is inadequate. According to the analysis of known data, the life form ought to possess a formidable bloodline. Innate charm, this inherent ability makes her very endearing. She is extremely attractive to males. Soul aptitude, superior level 8. General evaluation, currently classified as a level 3 life form. The life form ought to possess tremendous evolution potential. Within these 10 days, Yang Feng bitterly practiced Magic Notes Titan art and increased his attributes by 0.1. Xuanhuan, on the other hand, increased hers by 1.0. There was a difference of a factor of 10 in terms of cultivation speed between both parties. It should be noted that the further you advanced in your cultivation, the slower your cultivation speed would be. It was much harder to increase 1.5 of strength to 1.6 than 0.6 of strength to 0.7. But Xuanhuan, without taking any precious treasures, increased her attributes by 1.0 within 10 days only by practicing the West Extreme Cold Ice Phoenix art. This cultivation speed made Yang Feng, who drank an unknown amount of healing water, feel somewhat envious. Xuanhuan chuckled, clapped her hands and said, "Awesome, big brother. You're able to take the flogging of the clubs. How amazing." Thick-skinned, Yang Feng laughed heartily, saying, "Ha-ha, of course." A fragrance wafting from her. A 1.75-meter-tall beautiful woman dressed in servant attire, with long golden hair, slender figure, well-developed and sexy body, Big breasts that threatened to burst out from the clothing seductively walked up to Yang Feng and said in a soft voice, "Master, lunch is ready." This golden-haired, big-breasted beautiful woman was Sisai, the signature beauty of the giant stone city's White Puss in Hat Inn. Before Zhao Jiang died, she was the woman of his dreams that he couldn't get out of his mind. After he captured the giant stone city and killed Sisai's previous owner, the Viscount, he seized her and had her act as a maidservant. What a pity! She has a strong hint of prostitution. Additionally, her skin is rough, and she uses heavy makeup. Sure enough, the real stunning beauties are warlocks, or apprentice warlocks. Yang Feng looked at the beautiful Sissy, and his eyes flashed with regret. This content is taken from freowebnovel.com. Sisai looked very beautiful with her meticulously put on makeup. But when you took a closer look, you would discover that her skin was full of thick pores, completely different from the snow-white and silk-like Xuanhuan. Moreover, once the makeup was removed, Sisai's good looks would be greatly reduced, and she would be considered just an ordinary beauty. The only thing deserving praise was her well-developed, sexy figure. Among Yang Feng's maids, she was currently ranked as number 1. Chapter 36, Storm Wolves. Chapter 36, Storm Wolves. Translator, Zayamoj. A snow-white cloth and a number of top-quality porcelain imported from the continent's eastern world were spread on a round rosewood table. Spicy roasted oysters, black pepper veal, cow tongue with salt and pepper, cow tail soup, baked lobster with cheese, and other delicious and lavish cuisine arranged in the snow-white, top-quality porcelain emitted captivating fragrances. Yang Feng picked a piece of black pepper veal up with chopsticks and took a bite. When the juicy meat entered his mouth, it instantly inundated his mouth with a delicious taste. Pleased, Yang Feng praised the cook. "Not bad, Root. Your cooking is really good." Root bowed slightly in salute and said, "Master, I'm honored to receive your praise." The top chefs within Black City's sphere of influence were recruited by Yang Feng to be in charge of his meals, and Root was among them. "I'm finally able to enjoy the life of a local tyrant." Yang Feng looked at the beautiful maidservants and the dining table with top-notch cuisine, and then revealed a look of satisfaction. With the current forces under his command, he could establish a small principality. Additionally, that small principality would only have him as an aristocrat, so all its wealth would be under his control. He could be said to be as wealthy as a state. The majority of Yang Feng's forces were composed of robots who had no need for salaries. They only had to be supplied with sufficient energy, and they would work hard, hardly making any mistakes. Thus, he saved a ton of money. It could be said that the majority of income in his territory was net income, enabling him to lead a luxurious and extravagant life. This content is taken from freewebnovel.com. Oysters, veal, lobster, cow tongue, cow tail, and other ingredients were placed inside a level 0 secret treasure, specially refined by an alchemist to keep them fresh. Just to keep these ingredients fresh, he had to consume 1 magic stone per day. Ordinary aristocrats would go broke after a few meals. After finishing lunch, Yang Feng received a fragrant, moist, hot towel from Sisai and wiped his mouth. Then, he stood up slowly, looked into the distance, and whispered, "Should be about time." Yang Feng's words had just fallen, when a dozen youngsters dressed in gorgeous aristocratic attires appeared from the south of the wilderness, with more than 200 mounted bandits on their heels. The leader, a slightly fat, blue-haired lesser aristocrat, screamed in horror, "Help! Save me! I'm the son of the Warlock College Antalya's level 1 Warlock Abel. Save me! I'll reward you handsomely. Help! Please save us!" The dozen youngsters dressed in gorgeous aristocratic attires screamed loudly. Yang Feng waved his hand, and 200 level 4-bladed robots that looked almost exactly the same as humans quickly went to rescue the dozen youngsters. The leader of the more than 200 mounted bandits raised his hand and the bandits stopped their charge. The eyes of the leader gleamed ferociously, and he threatened, "I am Bud, the leader of the Storm Wolves. Those people are my prey. Hand them over, and I'll sweep this under the rug. Otherwise, You should forget about leaving the Hunting Fang's wilderness. Yang Feng looked at the leader of the mounted bandits and immediately started the scanning ability of the glasses. Bud. Basic attributes. Strength 5.1, Agility 5.7, Physique 6.2, Spirit 4.3. Bloodline human. Soul aptitude, inferior level 3. General evaluation. Classified as a level 5 lifeform. Evolution potential. Small. Yang Feng smiled faintly and waved his hand. A trifling great knight dares to run his mouth in front of me. Kill them. With alloy blades in hand, the 200-bladed robots charged at the more than 200 mounted bandits. The complexion of an aristocratic young man changed, and he whispered to the son of the level 1 Warlock Abel. How awful! Gars, this guy is so stupid. To use infantrymen in a charge against cavalrymen is no different from sending them to death. We should run away, Gars whispered back. I also think that he's stupid. Tell the others to be ready to run away. When this caravan is defeated, we'll take advantage of the confusion and run away. To use infantrymen to charge at cavalrymen was no different from sending them to their deaths. In the Turandot Subcontinent, only when infantrymen entered a phalanx formation might they contend with cavalrymen. Furthermore, only elite warriors unafraid of death might contend with cavalrymen in a phalanx formation. Otherwise, when an infantry engaged in field warfare with a cavalry, it would be massacred. The dozen youngsters who luckily managed to escape relaxed at first, but then had their hearts race once more, looking at Yang Feng as if he was a moron. When faced with the 200 fierce cavalrymen, the best course of action for the more than 2,000 people escorting the caravan was to have the carriages enter formation, and then use arrows and bolts to defend themselves. Only a moronic commander would order an infantry to charge at a cavalry. Bud's eyes flickered with a glint of contempt, and he pointed at Yang Feng with the saber in his hand and barked, "Fool! Follow me. Whoever chops off the head of this fool can have his pick of women and goods." When the bandits heard Bud, they clamored in excitement, and then grasped their scimitars tightly, yelled something unintelligible, and stormed fiercely towards the 200 level for bladed robots. Before long, the Storm Wolves cavalry mercilessly clashed with Yang Feng's level 4 bladed robots. Laughing malevolently, a Storm Wolves bandit brandished his saber and, with the force of the charge, ruthlessly slashed at a level 4 bladed robot. Once these cavalrymen launched a charge, then even knight-rank powerhouses could be killed. The Storm Wolves bandit had already envisioned the level 4 bladed robot being sliced in twine by his strike. Expressionless, the level 4 bladed robot mechanically brandished its 2-meter-long alloy blade and slashed at the Storm Wolves bandit. The next moment, hot blood sprayed. The Storm Wolves bandit and his mount were sliced in twine, and blood and viscera sprayed onto the level 4 bladed robot. Practically at the same time, copious amounts of blood sprayed on the battlefield. One after another, the Storm Wolves cavalrymen and their mounts were sliced in two, and their corpses scattered on the ground. It was like a scene from hell, her complexion pale and stomach churning. An aristocratic girls whispered, "How terrifying! They're knight-rank powerhouses. How could there be so many knight-rank powerhouses?" Chapter 37 Great Knight Bud. Chapter 37 Great Knight Bud. Translator, Zayamoj. To recruit knight-rank experts wasn't easy. In general, the salary of a knight-rank expert was 20 gold coins per month, which amounted to 240 gold coins per year. 200 knight-rank experts had to be paid 48,000 gold coins in wages per year. If you added the various equipment of knight-rank experts into the equation, then the expenditure would be even more frightening. Only Fernandro Principality's royal family could recruit 200 knight-rank powerhouses. Gar's eyes shimmered with astonishment, and he exclaimed, "Knights? How come these knight-rank experts are so formidable? Could they all be great knights? Otherwise, how could they withstand the assault of the mounted bandits?" Under the astonished gazes of the youngsters, the 200 level 4 bladed robots killed all bandits, only sparing the bandit leader Bud with great knight rank cultivation base. Even though these bladed robots were simplified version, nevertheless, they still weren't existences that ordinary humans could defeat. Impossible! What sort of freaks are you? What sort of freaks are you? Brandishing his blade, Bud hacked at a level 4 bladed robot and sent it flying. Seeing that he was surrounded by the 200 level 4 bladed robots, his eyes flickered with despair, and he roared. 200 level 4 bladed robots could chop Bud to tatters. Even Earth Knight rank powerhouses couldn't withstand the siege of 200 level 4 bladed robots. Yang Feng swept Bud with a glance and said indifferently, "Surrender. I happen to lack a great knight slave. I'll give you 3 seconds to consider. If you don't surrender, then you can drop dead." Clenching his saber and gritting his teeth, Bud said in a loud voice, "Sir, if you promise not to sell me to a warlock to conduct human experiments, then I'll surrender. Furthermore, I'm willing to serve you, sir. Otherwise, you should just kill me." It was very easy to sell great knight rank slaves in the slave market. One of the materials that some warlocks who carried out human experiments required were knight rank powerhouses or higher. Once they fell into the hands of such warlocks, a lot of great knights who were reduced to slaves in times of war would have a miserable ending. "Take this head ring and necklace and put them on. If you serve me sincerely, I won't sell you to any warlock." Yang Feng waved his hand, and a bladed robot with a head ring and necklace in hand walked up to Bud. "Yes, sir." After seeing the head ring and necklace, Bud's complexion changed slightly, and he hesitated. Eventually, he gave a long sigh, dropped the saber in his hand, and put on the head ring and necklace. Yang Feng spoke indifferently. "These 2 items are secret treasures refined by the Steel Lord. Once you harbor harmful thoughts towards me, you'll blow up into fragments, so you'd better behave." Bud's face registered several changes. Finally, he said meekly, "Yes, sir. I understand." In addition to the Mechanical Legion, Yang Feng also had to expand his influence within the Turandot Subcontinent. Recruiting a great knight like Bud, who was considered an elite talent, only brought benefits. The Steel Lord's Mechanical Legion is truly amazing, Gars admired sincerely. He walked up to Yang Feng, saying, "I am Gars, the son of the Warlock College Antalya's level 1 Warlock able to be escorted by the Steel Lord's Mechanical Legion. Are you the Steel Lord's only kin, Yang Feng?" Yang Feng replied with a light smile, "Yes, I am him," Gars uttered. "Thank you for your help." Yang Feng scanned the aristocratic youngsters with a glance, and an enigmatic glint flashed past his eyes. "It was as easy as raising my hand. Besides, if I'm not mistaken, we ought to become fellow students soon." The Warlock College Antalya would have students enroll once a year, and the age restriction of the enlisted students was from 14 to 18 years old. The students who traveled to the Warlock College Antalya were mostly 14 years old. After passing the entrance exam, they would join the Warlock College Antalya. Thus, the dozen aristocratic youngsters standing before Yang Feng were approximately 14 years old, while Gars, who was oldest, was only 16 years old. Yang Feng, who was already in his 20s, looked to be out of place as he stood among the youngsters. Gars introduced the dozen youngsters to Yang Feng. For the most part, the dozen youngsters were aristocrats from the potent principality. Originally, the aristocratic youngsters employed a large mercenary group and a joint personal guard squad with more than 100 people. Just the knight rank experts they employed numbered 5 people. However, there were traitors within the large mercenary group. Attacked from both inside and outside, the large mercenary group collapsed. The joint personal guard squad was wiped out by the storm wolves, and only the dozen aristocratic youngsters managed to escape. With a fragrance wafting from her, Xuanhuan came out of the camp and went next to Yang Feng. When Xuanhuan appeared, the gazes of Gars and company, whether male or female, were firmly attracted by her. She was not only astonishingly beautiful, but also had a natural charm to her, which made her attractiveness toward males even more amazing. Although Yang Feng was in contact with her, but he didn't dare to look at her too often. Otherwise, with his ordinary physique, he would have already yielded to her charm, unable to extricate himself. Gars looked at Xuanhuan with a look of infatuation in his eyes and said, "Yang Feng, can you introduce me to this fairy-like, beautiful lady?" Eyes limpid like water, Xuanhuan smiled sweetly and said, "Hello, I am big brother Yang Feng's little sister Shui. Nice to meet you. When the aristocratic youngsters saw Shui's beautiful smile, for which men and women alike would kill, their minds stirred. With her natural charm, whether men or women, everyone would have a favorable impression of her. In midair, there was a short eagle-tamer scout lying prone on an eagle's back. The short tamer had the giant eagle fly into the distance. freewebnovel.com. Come again. Use your flesh and blood to establish the Steel City's prestige. Yang Feng suddenly looked up at the giant eagle in the distance and whispered. High in the clouds above Yang Feng, there floated a micro-reconnaissance satellite, surveying. That giant eagle flew until an enormous camp that extended for 12 kilometers, and then descended and headed for the largest tent. Exuding a brutal aura, a burly middleman with blue eyes and a blade scar across his face sat in the seat of honor inside the largest tent. This brawny, blue-eyed middle-aged man was the 1,000-men butcher Gria, the most powerful and cruel bandit leader in the Hunting Fangs wilderness. He was the sole Sky Knight, comparable to a level 1 warlock in terms of fighting prowess, in the Hunting Fangs wilderness. Through numerous battles, he killed more than 1,000 bandits and caravan guards, and established himself as the Hunting Fangs wilderness's most feared overlord. This chapter is updated by freewebnovel.com. 200 Knight rank mechanical golems. Moreover, he has 2,000 guards in total. In other words, he has 2,000 Knight rank golem guards. After he finished listening to the report of the Eagle Tamer Scout, Gria's face darkened, and he spoke slowly. Chapter 38, Dragon Blood Elixir. Chapter 38, Dragon Blood Elixir. Translator, Zayamoj. 2,000 Knight rank golems. That's not something we can digest. Moreover, I don't want to provoke a fearsome person like the Steel Lord who can even kill level 2 warlocks. Please go back. Gria turned to look at a person clothed in a black robe standing in a corner whose face couldn't be clearly seen and said coldly. The Eye of Demonic Snake, the Fong of White Bear, and the Fernandro family had 3 level 2 warlocks join hands and go to the Black City to kill the Steel Lord. The outcome was 2 dead, 1 heavily injured. This weighty news had spread to virtually all major forces of the Turandot Subcontinent. As long as a family had a level 2 warlock keeping watch, it was qualified to establish a small principality. Even in the Warlock College Antalya and the other 6 major forces, level 2 warlocks were important members of the Senate, Parliament, or Council. The Steel Lord could kill 2 level 2 warlocks. No matter the means he had used, this achievement was enough for him to be ranked among the peak experts of the Turandot Subcontinent. No one was willing to provoke such a powerhouse without cause or reason. Because he was escorted by 2,000 bladed robots, Yang Feng hadn't met any troubles on his journey so far. Anyone who wanted to deal with him must think twice. The black-robed person said in a husky voice, 1 vial of dragon blood elixir. I'll give you a vial of dragon blood elixir if you comply with my command. With the vial of dragon blood elixir, you'll have hope to make a breakthrough and promote to a firmament knight. Dragon blood elixir. Gria's eyes flashed with greed and excitement. The dragon blood elixir could only be concocted by level 3 pharmacists with very high attainments in pharmacology. In addition, one of the main ingredients of the dragon blood elixir was dragon blood. Adult dragons not only were rare, but also had strength and wisdom not inferior to great warlocks. It was exceedingly difficult to slay a dragon. Naturally, the dragon blood elixir was very rare. The effect of a vial of dragon blood elixir was similarly astonishing, capable of increasing the chances of a pinnacle Sky Knight rank powerhouse like Gria to promote to a firmament knight by 20%. Without the dragon blood elixir, the Sky Knight Gria had little chance of advancing to a firmament knight. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, eyes glimmering with a scorching light, Gria uttered gravely, I'll have to inspect the dragon blood elixir first. The black-robed person took out a vial of blood-like dark red elixir and opened it, and a tiny dragon-shaped phantom flew out and emitted traces of dragon might. Gria took in a deep breath and regained his calm, and then creased his eyebrows tightly, saying, It's indeed the dragon blood elixir. However, the Steel Lord's kin has 2,000 knight rank mechanical golem guards by his side. Even if we gather everyone in the Hunting Fangs wilderness, we still won't be his match. As a pinnacle Sky Knight rank powerhouse, even when faced with 100 golems, Gria could still come and go as he pleased. But if he went against 2,000 Knight rank golems, that would be seeking death. Even if all bandits of the Hunting Fang's wilderness joined forces to face the 2,000 Knight rank golems, only death would await them. The black-robed person said in a hoarse voice, "That's not an issue. I can kill him if you can draw the majority of his guards away. After I kill him, this vial of dragon blood elixir is yours. With it, once you are promoted to a firmament knight, you won't have to stay in this desolate place anymore." Gria's eyes flashed with a strange light, and he said in a low voice, "That's right. So long as I promote to a firmament knight, I won't have to stay in this desolate place." Firmament knights were formidable existences who could contend with level 2 warlocks. No matter where they went, they would receive recruitment solicitations from major forces. If a firmament knight went to a principality, they could become that principality's state guardian knight and enjoy endless glory and riches. The gap in status and comfort between the bandit leader of the Hunting Fang's wilderness and a principality's state guardian knight were worlds apart. Gria spoke resolutely, "Okay. My subordinates are at your call. Has it finally begun? Interesting. It seems that the Hunting Fang's wilderness is about to present me with many more benefits." Yang Feng suddenly looked up into the distance and revealed an ice-cold smile. Gars asked somewhat inquisitively, "Big brother Yang Feng, did something happen?" Read 8 chapters at fguyuyobinovel.com only. Yang Feng smiled slightly and went outside. "Let's go. Come with me to watch a good show." Confused, Gars and the other aristocratic youngsters followed Yang Feng outside. At this moment outside the camp, one bandit troop after another was rushing over from different directions. Extending without end, the large numbers of bandits were a shocking sight to behold. Looking at the large numbers of bandits, Gar's legs went soft from fright, and he exclaimed, "Bandits! Why are there so many bandits? Did all of the Hunting Fang's wilderness's bandits come here?" Looking at the countless bandits, the faces of the other aristocratic youngsters paled, and they trembled, terrified. The mysterious black-robed person has gathered all of the Hunting Fang's wilderness's bandits, their numbers exceeding 10,000 people. Although the Hunting Fang's wilderness belonged to the Cineris Principality, but it was the common border between 3 principalities. Wicked and vicious criminals of the 3 principalities fled into the wilderness and formed one bandit group after another. This time around, virtually all of the Hunting Fang's wilderness's bandits were gathered by the black-robed person, forming this terrifying force. Mounting a pitch-black demonic wildebeest, Gria emerged from the dense crowd of bandits, then stared coldly at Yang Feng and company and said loudly, "I am Gria, the leader of the 1,000 Kills group. Yang Feng, the nephew of the Steel Lord, please come with us. Our master wants to see you. We'll be in charge of your safety." Gar's complexion suddenly changed dramatically, and he spoke in a shaky voice. "The leader of the 1,000 Kills group, he's the 1,000 Men Butcher Gria. He's a pinnacle Sky Knight rank expert. He once escaped from under the pursuit of 2 official level 1 warlocks. He's the Hunting Fang's wilderness most cruel killer. What bad luck. We're in big trouble this time." The remaining aristocratic youngsters showed looks of fear in their eyes. Even a large principality such as the Fernandro Principality only had a single Sky Knight rank powerhouse. Sky Knights were formidable beings who could rival level 1 warlocks. A Sky Knight could easily massacre a 100-strong elite squad. Such a powerhouse wasn't an existence they could withstand. FRUUEOL.com. Yang Feng sneered. "A Sky Knight? Gria, surrender now, and I'll spare your lives. Otherwise, you and your subordinates are going to be buried here today." "Gria, why are you talking so much nonsense with this useless guy? Charge. Kill him." The eyes of a 2-meter-tall, bald man shimmered with a ruthless glint, and he pointed at Yang Feng with a huge machete and bellowed. Chapter 39, Killing Bandits. Chapter 39, Killing Bandits. Translator, Zayamoch, dressed in red, a huge machete in hand, The bald man exuding a valiant air bellowed ferociously and charged at Yang Feng's caravan. When the bald man moved, under the command of their leaders, bandits from different forces urged their mounts and charged at Yang Feng. "Kill him. Whoever brings me his head will be rewarded with 3,000 gold coins. Kill him. Whoever kills him and brings me his head will be rewarded with 1,000 gold coins." The bandit leaders roared and offered extremely high rewards, prompting the dregs and scum under their command to holler in excitement. 1 gold coin could be exchanged for 2,000 copper coins. 1,000 gold coins could be exchanged for 2,000,000 copper coins. Many lesser aristocratic families didn't have a liquid capital of 1,000 gold coins. 1,000 gold coins was enough for the bandits to retire and live in prosperity for the rest of their lives. When Gars and the rest of the aristocratic youngsters saw the tide of bandits rush towards them, they shivered, a look of horror in their eyes. On the Turandot Subcontinent, aristocrats were basically descendants of warlocks. With martial prowess being encouraged, many aristocratic families had knight-rank inheritance methods. Gars and the rest of the aristocratic youngsters had received martial arts training, and many of them were at the junior warrior rank. However, when they saw the tide of bandits, they still felt shocked and frightened. Yang Feng spoke frigidly. "Kill them. Take no captives." Expressionless, 1,000 bladed robots orderly marched to intercept the bandits. The wide expanse of bandits and the 1,000 bladed robots very quickly collided. The next moment, countless limbs flew about as a large number of bandits and their mounts were sliced in twine by the alloy blades of the bladed robots. The bandits that had already unleashed their charge were too late to dodge, and so they still charged dauntlessly towards the bladed robots before being sliced in two by the expressionlessly bladed robots. It was like delivering pigs for slaughter. When the bandits in the rear saw the hell-like scene, they at once became scared silly, and then urged their mounts and scattered. The 1,000 bladed robots raised their engine power output to the highest level and charged at the bandits with a speed that exceeded that of their mounts, slicing one mounted bandit into two after another. This content is taken from fga-iwabnavio.l.co. Gars praised sincerely. "Those golems are so ferocious. The Steel City's Golem Legion is really deserving of its reputation. For the more that 10,000 bandits to be chased by just 1,000 bladed robots, that was just inconceivable. Even for a knight rank expert, it would be difficult to overtake a mounted bandit. But bladed robots could easily chase up to the bandits, and then cut them in twine. Such fighting strength was terrifying. Countless mournful wails reverberated within the Hunting Fong wilderness. Every second, a large number of bandits were cut into two, and blood dyed the wilderness red. Save me! Save me! With a cultivation base of an Earth Knight, the bald bandit leader cut down quite a few of his subordinates as he urged his mount to escape the encirclement of the bladed robots. Suddenly, he saw 128 bladed robots surround him, and he shouted at once, terror-stricken. Detached looks in their eyes, the 128 bladed robots pounced at the bald bandit. 12 bladed robots jumped up high and rushed towards the bald bandit. "Bring it on!" That bald bandit gave a furious roar. In the blink of an eye, he stimulated his body's potential and copped out with his blade 30 times. In a split second, 8 bladed robots were sliced into a dozen parts. At the same time, sealing all of the bald bandit's maneuvering space, a dozen alloy blades instantly slashed at him and sliced him into numerous pieces. Looking at this scene from the distance, Bud felt his scalp go numb, and he rejoiced inside. The 100-men butcher mark also died. Those golems are so strong. The 100-men butcher mark was one of the most formidable bandits in the Hunting Fong wilderness as well as one of the few Earth Knights, and his fighting strength was only second to Gria's. In his most famous battle to date, he slayed more than 100 enemies by himself, and got the fierce name 100-men butcher. Now, however, even one of the strongest bandit leaders was dissected by a dozen bladed robots. Bud gained a new understanding about how formidable the Mechanical Legion was. In fact, the greater the numbers of the Mechanical Legion, the stronger its fighting strength was. In a one-on-one fight between a bladed robot and a knight rank expert, the odds were 50 to 50. But in a fight between 100 bladed robots and 100 knight rank soldiers, the bladed robots would crush the knight rank soldiers. And that was because the bladed robots were well coordinated and unafraid of death. Their defensive strength was formidable, with their vital points being few and small, and their fighting strength was dauntless. Human knight rank soldiers didn't have such qualities. Their courage shattered by the bladed robots. Large numbers of bandits urged their mounts to escape this hell-like battlefield without looking back. Finding themselves duped, the remaining bandits came to a standstill and hesitated. Suddenly, the space in the underbrush 200 meters behind Yang Feng warped, and the black-robed man appeared and pointed at Yang Feng, and a level 1 fireball shot towards Yang Feng. The might of the level 1 spell fireball was terrifying, and even a Sky Knight rank expert could only die when hit by a level 1 fireball. As for an ordinary person like Yang Feng, if the fireball so much brushed against him, he would be instantly burned to death. In this critical moment, 2 level 5 shielded robots standing beside Yang Feng raised their shields, and their shields flashed with light, and 2 transparent energy shields suddenly appeared behind Yang Feng. Boom! The level 1 fireball exploded in an instant, setting off ripples on the 2 transparent energy shields. Gars looked at the black-robed man, and then shouted in appall, "Stealth! Fireball! It's a warlock! An official warlock!" The rest of the aristocratic youngsters revealed looks of terror in their eyes. On the Turandot Subcontinent, apart from places like the Warlock College Antalya where warlocks gathered, an official level 1 warlock could proclaim themselves the overlord of a territory. A level 1 warlock could casually kill an ordinary person such as Gars. If not for the 2 level 5 shielded robots, the level 1 fireball would have already blown Yang Feng into tatters. Chapter 40 Assassins. Chapter 40 Assassins. Translator: Zayamoj. Kill him. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased, and he pointed towards the black-robed man and said in a cold voice. In a split second, 400-bladed robots raised the output of their engines to the highest level and, with a terrifying speed that exceeded that of speeding mounts, darted towards the black-robed man. Dark fog. The black-robed man took out a black magic staff, unleashed the spell imbued in the magic staff, and a cloud of black fog suddenly appeared and enveloped Yang Feng's location. Acceleration. Magic light rose from the black-robed man. With a light tap of his feet, he instantly shot backwards and, with a speed that surpassed that of the bladed robots, escaped towards the distance. freewebnovel.com. Activate the infrared scanning system, thermal imaging system, and acoustic location system. The bladed robots quickly activated their scanning systems, and countless flows of data welled up within their electronic eyes. The Sky Knight Gria broke out with his fastest speed in a split second and darted towards Yang Feng's location, with a terrifying speed of 180 kilometers per hour, leaving afterimages behind. Just like official level 1 warlocks, Sky Knights have broken through human limits and begun to evolve in the direction of extraordinary life forms. Going all out, Gria could erupt with a speed of 180 kilometers per hour. However, he could maintain this terrifying speed for only 1 minute. With that terrific eruption of speed, Gria only needed 2 seconds to cross a distance of 100 meters and appear before Yang Feng, and then he just had to slash out with his sword. Accompanied by a loud sound, an enormous container beside Yang Feng suddenly burst open. Amid the countless flying pieces of wood, a level 7 bladed robot suddenly darted towards Gria lightning fast and fiercely slashed at Gria with its alloy blades from different directions. Fuck! What is this monster? Gria's face suddenly fell, and he burst out with formidable life force in an instant. Brandishing the enchanted blade, he unleashed the martial skill bloody crosscut he had painstakingly cultivated, and a bright and sharp bloody crosscut ray carrying a tyrannical aura mercilessly chopped at the level 7 bladed robot. The chest of the level 7 bladed robot flickered with light. A level 1 energy shield enveloped its body in a split second, and it allowed the bloody cross-cut chop at its energy shield, expressionless. The bloody cross-cut cut opened the level 7 bladed robot's energy shield at once, and then chopped at the level 7 bladed robot, leaving a 3-centimeter deep sword mark behind. The source of this content is freoueol.com. Practically at the same time, the level 7 bladed robot seized this chance to slash out with its alloy blades, and sliced Griya into 8 fragments in a split second. When the black-robed man saw Griya's tragic death at the hands of the level 7-bladed robot, a coldness gripped his heart. What sort of mechanical golem is that? It's able to insta-kill a Sky Knight. The Steel Lord actually sent such a treasure to protect his nephew? Fuck! On the Turandot Subcontinent, mechanical golems capable of killing a Sky Knight were priceless. Even level 2 warlocks wouldn't rashly lend such a treasure to others. Rather, they would treat it as a trump card. Boom! Boom! Along with 2 loud sounds, 2 containers burst open and 2 Gundam-like gunner robots shot out from within the containers at once. They aimed their Vulcan cannons at the black-robed warlock, and countless streams of data surged within their eyes. Shit! Warping force field. The black-robed warlock suddenly had an ominous premonition, and an formidable warping force field enveloped him in an instant. When the Vulcan cannon shells slammed into the warping force field, their trajectories distorted, and they shot around the black-robed warlock. However, the shooting rate of each Vulcan cannon was 600 shells per second, and the 2 level 7 gunner robots were altogether equipped with 8 Vulcan cannons, reaching a shooting rate of 4,800 shells per second. Coupled with the supercomputing chip that calculated the trajectory of the shells, the majority of the shells hit the black-robed warlock. After less than a second, the warping force field crumbled, and the black-robed warlock was torn to shreds by the terrifying Vulcan cannon shells. When he saw the black-robed warlock being turned into a bloody mist, incredulity glimmered in Garza's eyes. Insta-killed! A level 1 warlock was insta-killed. Heavens, I haven't seen wrong. This is the Steel City's mechanical golem legion. How terrifying! Incredulity also glimmered in the eyes of the other aristocratic youngsters, and they looked at the 2 Gundam-like level 7 gunner robots with envy and jealousy in their eyes. The black-robed warlock died and the bandit army collapsed and fell apart, with bandits scattering everywhere. Yang Feng only had the level 4 bladed robots kill the bandits. Although the firepower of the level 7 gunner robots was terrifying, but their consumption of ammunition was also great. Despite bringing a lot of shells, but Yang Feng would only use them on warlocks. As for ordinary humans, the melee level 4 bladed robots were enough. With the Shizu technology, he could also manufacture battle robots with unlimited ammunition. However, the technology involved was too high-end, and Yang Feng couldn't manufacture them at the moment. As such, when far away from the headquarters Black City, Yang Feng couldn't lightly use level 7 gunner robots, level 7 artillery robots, and other battle robots with formidable destructive power due to the pressure coming from the logistics. Relatively speaking, the bladed robots were his main troops. A rather pretty aristocratic young lady called Bella with short blue hair and freckles on her face spoke enviously. Eldest brother Yang Feng, your uncle treats you so well. The rest of the aristocratic youngsters also revealed looks of envy. To send a mechanical legion capable of exterminating official warlocks in order to protect a kin, even many large warlock families wouldn't do something this extravagant. The sons and daughters of patriarchs of many large warlock families would have some level 3 apprentice warlock, or Great Knight and Earth Knight rank experts as guards at most. Only some formidable level 3 warlocks, or forces with great warlocks might have a level 1 warlock act as a guard for their children. Yang Feng smiled slightly and said, "That's because I'm the only relative of my uncle." Garz suddenly pointed towards a bladed robot and asked full of curiosity, "Eldest brother Yang Feng, are the carriages loaded with such mechanical golems?" The gazes of the aristocratic youngsters focused on Yang Feng, eyes brimming with curiosity and excitement. Chapter 41, Black Dragon Tower. Chapter 41, Black Dragon Tower. Translator, Zayamoj. There were 500 carriages in Yang Feng's convoy. If all of them were loaded with terrifying battle robots such as level 7 bladed robots and level 7 gunner robots, that would be a terrifying force. Even if it was a level 3 warlock, they also may not be a match for this mechanical legion. Only great warlocks who completely exceeded the limitations of the human body might have the strength to destroy a mechanical legion composed of 500 carriages worth of level 7 golems. Yang Feng answered like it wasn't a big deal. Part of them. The eyes of the aristocratic youngsters exuded unspeakable envy and jealousy. Even if only 20 of the 500 carriages had bladed robots and gunner robots, such weaponry would already be in terrifying force. If placed within any one principality, it would be a strategic force capable of deciding the fate of that state. For Yang Feng to be able to employ such a force at his whim, his power surpassed the aristocratic youngsters by far. After the Hunting Fang's Wilderness's coalition of bandits was routed, the bladed robots began to sweep the battlefield and collected anything of value. The bandits' weapons, equipment, and money were all gathered. The loot was sizable. After the battlefield was swept clean, the huge caravan once again began to slowly proceed onward. Nightfall darkness shrouded the earth. In a place a dozen kilometers behind Yang Feng's caravan, there was an expansive tent simply knocked together. Inside the big tent, the severed heads of countless bandits formed a small hill. Above the hilltop floated a basin-sized mechanical sphere. From within the mechanical sphere, countless fine mechanical tentacles extended and pierced into the bandits' severed heads. Reading read the memories of the bandits. The bandits in Hunting Fang's wilderness came from all over, and their memories possessed a lot of useful information and knowledge. On Turandot Subcontinent, Warlocks controlled everything and monopolized all knowledge. As such, any knowledge was extremely valuable. Therefore, after Yang Feng killed his enemies, their memories would be read and recorded in the database, enriching the database. The richer the database was, the more accurately could the various deductions be carried out. In addition, via the memories of the bandits coming from all over, Yang Feng could gain an understanding of the Turandot Subcontinent's local customs and practices, taboo, distribution of power, and other intelligence. Dragon blood elixir. This guy was carrying such a treasure. How lucky! Yang Feng fiddled with the crystal vial containing dragon blood elixir, and excitement flashed his eyes. The dragon blood elixir was extremely precious, and the defensive strength of the crystal bottle containing the dragon blood elixir was astonishing. Additionally, it was luckily preserved as it wasn't hit by the machine cannon bombardment. Yang Feng handed the vial of dragon blood elixir to the octopus-like robot with a lot of tentacles beside him and asked, 3796, can you synthesize this dragon blood elixir? 3790 SIXS consciousness could move to any robot equipped with a smart microchip. An opening appeared on the robot octopus's head, from which a fine glass tube extended and sucked in a small portion of the dragon blood elixir, and then retreated back. Shortly after, countless flows of data surged through its eyes. Begin analysis of the elixir. Feasibility analysis. The elixir can be analyzed and synthesized. Begin analysis model. Analysis rate of progress is at 0.01%. With the current computing power, it is estimated that the elixir will be fully analyzed after 10 days. Notifications appeared on Yang Feng's eyeglasses one after another. His eyes flashed with a trace of delight. Can be synthesized. Terrific. The dragon blood elixir was very rare. Black Cottage's Master Bonney wished to obtain a vial, yet he was unable to buy it. Only the 6 great forces or some formidable forces with great warlocks might be able to concoct such a precious elixir. Once the dragon blood elixir could be synthesized, Yang Feng could use it in large quantities to strengthen his body and promote his strength. He quickly checked the origins of the black-robed warlock. Black Dragon Tower? I was under the impression that it was the Savage Claw's doing. I didn't expect the assassin to be from Black Dragon Tower. Apparently, quite a lot of people want me dead. Due to his avatar, the Steel Lord's recommendation, Yang Feng obtained the qualification to join the Warlock College Antalya. However, within the Turandot Subcontinent, there were a lot of forces that were unwilling to see Yang Feng join the Warlock College Antalya. After all, Yang Feng's avatar, the Steel Lord, broke the strength balance between the 6 great forces, although he didn't want to make such a big stir. However, his cultivation aptitude was truly too lacking. If it wasn't for the recommendation of the Steel City Master, he couldn't have entered the Warlock College Antalya, and in fact, he wouldn't be able to join any warlock force. When he was checking the bandit leader Gria's relevant memories, Yang Feng suddenly frowned. The treasure trove of an ancient god. To have a connection with the Snow White Tower, this Gria really wasn't simple. This spells trouble. Gria, formerly known as Kanea, was a Sky Knight with battle prowess comparable to a level 1 Warlocks. Such an expert, no matter where he went, would receive offers of recruitment and have great glory, splendor, wealth, and status to enjoy. Nevertheless, he chose to go to the Hunting Fang's wilderness and became a bandit leader, and that was because he provoked the Snow White Tower. He got a secret regarding the treasure trove of an ancient god from the Snow White Tower. The Snow White Tower was a peak force within the Turandot Subcontinent, second only to the 6 great forces. The Snow White Tower's current tower mistress, Snow White Madam, was a great Warlock rank expert. freewebnov.co. After he provoked the Snow White Tower, Kanea could only flee. In order to conceal his identity, he hid in the Hunting Fang's wilderness, where dragons and snakes mingle, became Gria, and established a sizable foundation. Thanks to a secret treasure that could resist divination spells, Kanea concealed himself from the Snow White Tower. Now that the secret treasure was broken by bladed robots, there was no longer anything resisting the detection of the Snow White Tower's divination spells. Yang Feng didn't know when he'd be detected by the Snow White Tower's divination spells and become the Snow White Tower's target. Gods possessed lifespans that surpassed that of other life forms by far. The lowest rank feeble divine force gods had a lifespan of upwards of 1 million years. In order to extend their life expectancy, there were a lot of experts that chose to ascend to godhood. This content is taken from fgariwebnavio.com. However, due to the god-murdering spear forged by the Time Lord, it was no longer possible to ascend to godhood in the world controlled by Warlocks. Those who have ascended to godhood prior to the rise of the god-murdering spear, they hid some treasure troves outside their divine countries in order to quickly restore their strength when they got the chance to resurrect and rise again. Chapter 42, St. Colin City. Chapter 42, St. Colin City. Translator, Zayamoj. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased as he gradually mused. With Gria as a screen, it shouldn't be that easy to find me, right? Divination spells were mysterious and strange. They weren't something that ordinary people like Yang Feng could ward off. The only way to ward off divination spells was by means of secret treasures or promotion to a level 1 Warlock. Only then might he be able to ward off the power of divination spells. For the current him, the ancient god's treasure trove wasn't too important. His current top priority lied in reaching the level 1 Warlock rank. Every god rank expert possessed terrifying strength that surpassed that of a great Warlock by far, and a treasure trove left by such an expert would be extremely dangerous. Yang Feng didn't want to enter the ancient god's treasure trove, get cursed and die. 2 secret treasures, pretty good. Yang Feng looked at the 2 secret treasures beside him with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. Secret treasure was a generic term for items with extraordinary power refined by alchemists. According to the definition of the Warlock dynasties, even if it was in god armament used by a god, it would still be classified as a secret treasure, albeit a high-level one. Secret treasures were extremely rare, and most of them were in the hands of official Warlocks. After Yang Feng took down the Black Cottage, he also only obtained 2 level 1 secret treasures and 5 level 0 secret treasures. And after he disposed of the 2 level 2 Warlocks, he obtained 1 level 2 secret treasure. Blood Blade, level 1 secret treasure. Attributes: hardness +1, armor damage +1, magic damage +1, sharpness +1. Yang Feng picked up Gria's blade, and soon after, a series of notifications appeared on his eyeglasses. Black Magic Staff, level 1 secret treasure. Enchanted with the level 1 spell Dark Fog, 0/1. Needs to be recharged. He touched the magic staff of the black-robed Warlock, and a series of notifications appeared once again. His eyebrows creased slightly. The secret treasure needs to be charged. With my current strength, I'm basically unable to use it. To use secret treasures like the Black Magic Staff, you had to charge them first, and in order to charge them, you had to comprehend and master the relevant spells. Level 1 spells were still too challenging for Yang Feng. In addition to chargeable secret treasures, there were still permanent secret treasures that recovered automatically. These secret treasures could automatically recover a certain number of spells every day, and anyone could use them. Such secret treasures were more precious and rarer than the chargeable secret treasures. Even though this blood blade is good, but compared to a pistol, the attack range is too limited. For the current me, a pistol is much more useful than this blood blade. Yang Feng picked up the blood blade and brandished it several times, and then mused regretfully. No matter how high your martial attainment was, one bullet would take you out. Even if it was a knight rank or a great knight rank expert, so long as they were hit by Yang Feng's 9mm silver pistol, they would either die or be incapacitated. If Yang Feng used the blood blade to fight with people, then even a junior warrior could get rid of him. Yang Feng took care of the majority of powerful bandits. The Hunting Fang's Wilderness's bandits didn't dare to provoke the tyrannical caravan anymore. After the caravan smoothly crossed the Hunting Fang's Wilderness, it passed through a few cities without any major incidents, and then finally arrived at the Warlock College Antalya's St. Colin City. This is the St. Colin City? How grand! Standing in front of the St. Colin City, Yang Feng raised his head and looked at that majestic, gigantic city with eyes brimming with shock. The St. Colin City's city wall was 100 meters tall. It was entirely cast of steel rock. Above the city wall, there was a Warlock Tower every few kilometers. The Warlock Towers formed St. Colin City's impregnable line of defense. Even if it were the modern-day Earth, there weren't many countries capable of building such a majestic and grand city like the St. Colin City. Gars said proudly, "It's only natural. After all, the St. Colin City is one of the 6 miracle cities of the Turandot Subcontinent. The 6 miracle cities are said to be an inheritance from the 7th Warlock Dynasty. Even if they were placed on the continent, the 6 miracle cities wouldn't be considered too backward." A gleam flashed past Yang Feng's eyes, and he mused. In other words, cities like the St. Colin City aren't anything special on the continent. This world's warlocks are truly formidable. Hold on. Please show your passage certificate. A soldiers guarding the gate stopped Yang Feng. He glanced at the 6-meter-tall bladed robot standing beside Yang Feng, and his face registered a slight change, his voice somewhat respectful. With a 6-meter-tall mechanical golem acting as a guard, the soldier absolutely couldn't provoke such a bigwig. But when he saw the long caravan behind Yang Feng, he could only summon his courage and step forward to stop Yang Feng. Yang Feng waved his hand, and his temporary manager Jim stepped forward and handed the passage certificate to the soldier. Please go in. The passage certificate was issued by the Level 2 Warlock Utarax. After he inspected the passage certificate, the soldier's expression flickered once more, and he let them through. Once he entered the St. Colin City, Yang Feng saw vast roads emerge before his eyes. On the modern roads, there were luxurious carriages as well as modern vehicles cast of steel rather similar to sports cars. Yang Feng looked at the vehicles that looked just like Earth's sports cars with astonishment in his eyes, and he cried out, "Those vehicles? How come they're so different from carriages?" Visit frioubnovel.co for the BST novel reading experience. Gars gave an introduction in a somewhat envious tone. They are magic chariots, one of the 6th Warlock Dynasty's alchemical products. These puppies are faster than carriages and are very safe. Not mentioning their price, just their propulsion requires the consumption of magic stones, 1 magic stone every 200 kilometers. Only official warlocks or peak aristocrats can afford those magic chariots. A low-grade magic stone was equivalent to 100 gold coins. The consumption of 1 magic stone every 200 kilometers, such a high cost wasn't something that ordinary aristocrats could afford. Staring at a magic chariot, Yang Feng mused, "Magic chariots, magic carpets. This world of warlocks is really high-end." On either side of the vast road, there stood 5-meter-tall trees with a glass-like transparent shell emitting a fragrance. Gars pointed at the trees on either side of the road and introduced them to Yang Feng and the lesser aristocratic youngsters. These are sunlight trees. They are trees the warlocks of the 7th Warlock Dynasty brought from a plain with countless rare and strange species of trees. After the sunlight trees absorb enough sunlight during the day, their fruits will release a beautiful light during the night and brightly illuminate the St. Colin City, just like a city that never sleeps. Chapter 43, Ancient Energy Absorbing Tree. Chapter 43, ancient energy-absorbing tree. Translator, Zayamoj. Bella and the other aristocratic youngsters listened to Gar's introduction with a look of fascination in their eyes. Unlike the St. Colin city, which had precious plants like sunlight trees planted on both sides of the road, ordinary states couldn't be so extravagant. Excluding the St. Colin city, the other 5 miracle cities, and some top-notch warlock forces, most places on the Turandot Subcontinent were at the level of medieval Europe. Bella and the rest of the aristocratic youngsters were much more experienced than commoners, but they were still country bumpkins when compared to princeling warlocks like Gar's. The interior of the St. Colin city was tidy and orderly. The roads were smooth, and everyone was dressed in gorgeous clothing, their complexions rosy. Every building within the city had a unique style, and many large buildings were brimming with an artistic beauty. Unlike ordinary cities, there was no mud, no animal feces, nor flows of sewage water here. It was even more beautiful, clean, lively, and flourishing than the cities of Earth's modern Europe. After he entered the city, Yang Feng and his convoy as well as 2,000 guards attracted the attention of countless onlookers. To them, the 6-meter-tall bladed robot as well as the other battle robots were particularly eye-catching. Mechanical golems weren't rare on the Turandot subcontinent, but the majority of them were in the hands of official warlocks. Ordinary people could seldom see such large mechanical golems like the bladed robot. Although the real estate prices in the St. Colin city were ridiculously high, but after negotiating with the Warlock College Antalya and name-dropping the Steel Lord Yang Feng bought a small manor within the St. Colin city for 10,000 magic stones. After a night's rest in the small manor, Gars took them towards the Warlock College Antalya. The Warlock College Antalya was located in the center of the St. Colin city. It was a city of 30 kilometers in diameter within a city. The area within 1,000 meters of the Warlock College Antalya's entrance was covered in lush trees and green grass, showing no signs of human habitation. But outside that area, there were numerous shops bustling with activity. This was the day that the Warlock College Antalya recruited new students, so the road leading to the Warlock College Antalya was crowded. Mechanical golems. Those mechanical golems are so big. Who is that person? He has such terrifying mechanical golems act as his guards. Suddenly, there were bursts of discussions in the crowd, and then it parted. Guarded by 8 level 7 battle robots, Yang Feng and his entourage arrived outside the entrance of the Warlock College Antalya. The nearby crowd watched the battle robots next to Yang Feng with reverence in their eyes. The level 7 bladed robots were 6 meters tall and were equipped with many tyrannical weapons. At a glance, people could tell that unless you possessed warlock rank battle prowess, you couldn't defeat those big fellows. The person guarded by those steel freaks was a bigwig that should not be offended. In the crowd, a blonde and blue-eyed girl of approximately 16 years of age, with a fiery figure and beautiful and alluring features, stared fiercely at Yang Feng and murmured with resentment. "He's the Steel Lord's sole kin," a middle-aged man standing beside the beautiful girl whispered. "Your Highness Princess, please don't do anything rash. The Steel Lord is a lunatic. If you give him a pretext, then the Fernandro family will be in danger." That beautiful princess's eyes flashed with confidence, and she responded coldly, "I know. I won't act rashly, but I also won't let him have an easy time." Guarded by the 8 battle robots, when Yang Feng and company arrived at the area 1,000 meters away from the entrance of the Warlock College Antalya, they stopped. The Warlock College Antalya's rules were very strict. The 1,000-meter path could only be traversed by the youngsters that were going to participate in the Warlock College Antalya's entrance examination. As for servants and guards, once they stepped onto that path, they would get severely punished at best, or killed or forced to act as alchemical materials at worst. With Gars leading the way, Yang Feng followed the close to 10,000 youngsters from the Southern States Coalition towards the Warlock College Antalya in large strides. What a big tree! When he arrived at the Warlock College Antalya's gate, Yang Feng looked inside, where he saw a giant tree atop a high mountain. The giant tree towering into the clouds possessed countless branches and radiated rainbow-like light. Gar spoke proudly. "This is an ancient energy-absorbing tree. It's a special, extremely ancient tree from the same plane as the sunlight trees. It can absorb the energy drifting in the space and condense it into a magic crystal pool. Even on the continent, it would be considered a rare treasure. If the ancient energy-absorbing tree hadn't already merged with Warlock College Antalya, then perhaps it would have already been taken by the experts from the continent away. Magic stones were ores with extraordinary energy, and they were divided into 4 grades: low-grade magic stones, mid-grade magic stones, high-grade magic stones, and top-grade magic stones. The exchange rate between each successive grade was at the rate of 100:1. Above the top-grade magic stones, there were still magic crystals. The ancient energy-absorbing tree could absorb the energy drifting in the space and condense it into a magic crystal pool. As such, its value was clearly immense. Visit freeobnovel.com for the Est Envel reading experience. On the Turandot Subcontinent, there were many forces with great Warlock rank experts, but they were by far inferior to the Warlock College Antalya and the rest of the 6 major forces, and that was because their foundation was much more shallow than that of the 6 major forces. The ancient energy-absorbing tree was part of the Warlock College Antalya's foundation. At the gate of the Warlock College Antalya, there lied 10 tables, and behind each table sat a level 1 warlock emitting formidable fluctuation of life. On each table, there lied a crystal used to examine the soul aptitude of the youngsters eager to join the college. A black-robed old man spoke in an indifferent tone. 15 years old, inferior level 3 soul aptitude. Not qualified. The face of a youngster dressed in a gorgeous attire flickered, and he clenched his teeth and left an unwilling expression on his face. The Warlock College Antalya's enrollment criteria was very strict. Your soul aptitude must have reached inferior level, for in order to get the chance to join the college. As for some small Warlock forces, they would let you join them as long as your soul aptitude reached intermediate level 2. 14 years old, inferior level 4 soul aptitude, qualified. 16 years old, superior level 4 soul aptitude, qualified. 15 years old, inferior level 5 soul aptitude, qualified. 15 years old, superior level 3 soul aptitude, not qualified. Voices pronouncing the fates of the youngsters from the Southern States Coalition sounded time and again. Those who were declared qualified, they looked very happy. Those who were declared not qualified, their faces turned deathly pale as if they had just lost a parent. Chapter 44, Malicious Ridicule. Chapter 44, Malicious Ridicule. Translator, Zayamoj. 14 years old, superior level 6 soul aptitude, qualified, freewebnovel.com. The soul aptitude of most of the youngsters was basically between level 4 and level 5. Suddenly, a somewhat excited voice sounded, and the gazes focused on a blonde and blue-eyed beautiful girl with a fiery figure. Excited, the level 1 warlock in front of the blonde and blue-eyed girl looked at her as if she was a treasure. His expression gentle, the level 1 warlock looking like he was 35 or 36 years old handed the girl a slip of paper and uttered gently, "I'm Nice, an official level 1 warlock of the Warlock College Antalya. If you want to become my personal disciple, please contact me. Here are my contact details." All the students looked at the beautiful girl with eyes brimming with envy. Nice previously gave the other students the cold shoulder, yet now he handed that girl an olive branch, which showed that he was extremely optimistic about her future prospects. With superior level 6 soul aptitude, if nothing unexpected happened, and there was an abundance of resources, promoting to a level 1 warlock was basically a cinch. Only when breaking through to a level 2 warlock would a bottleneck and the possibility of failure arise. Naturally, such a student made Nice very moved. Even for an apprentice warlock who wasn't an ordinary student, to be able to receive pointers from an official level 1 warlock was an opportunity for which they yearned even in their dreams. It could spare them a lot of detours as well as gain them large amounts of resources. The beautiful girl bowed towards Nice in salute and tactfully declined, "Many thanks for your care, Sir Nice, I'll consider it." Nice swept the girl with a somewhat regretful glance. Then his gaze fell on the rest of the youngsters, and he regained his indifference. Next, new Envel chapters are published on freewebnovel.co. The youngsters continued to step forward and have their aptitudes tested. Yang Feng has discovered that the majority of the youngsters had level for soul aptitude, and only a few of them had level 5 soul aptitude. As for level 6 soul aptitude, there was only that beautiful girl. After more than 1,000 youngsters went through the examination, suddenly there was a slight uproar. The test of a 14-year-old lesser aristocratic youngster showed a reading of inferior level 6 soul aptitude. This lesser aristocratic youngster directly chose to become a personal disciple of the official warlock. The majority of the youngsters that chose to join the Warlock College Antalya were eager to become personal disciples of the official warlocks. Only those who possessed a formidable background and have selected a talented teacher in advance would choose to tactfully decline an official warlock's recruitment. After yet another several hundred youngsters went through their examinations, it was finally Yang Feng's turn. In front of him was a male warlock approximately 36 or 37 years old. He gave Yang Feng a glance, and then creased his eyebrows and said, "The Warlock College Antalya only enrolls students under the age of 16. You're too old. Leave. I am the Steel Lord's nephew, Yang Feng. This is my enrollment certificate." In a calm and collected manner, Yang Feng fished out a badge that emitted faint fluctuations of magic and handed it to the warlock. After he carefully examined the badge, the warlock creased his eyebrows slightly and spoke apathetically. "Place your hand on the crystal." Yang Feng placed his hand on the crystal. After a few moments, the crystal released weak, dull gray light. 25 years old. Inferior level. 1 soul aptitude. Qualified. The warlock looked at the crystal and said practically through gritted teeth. Inferior level 1 soul aptitude was the worst possible aptitude. It couldn't even compare to that of a lot of peasants. Only some premature infants, good-for-nothings who depleted their body's potential through whoring and drinking, or those who sustained injuries while in the womb would have such a terrible soul aptitude. Inferior level 1 soul aptitude. How can such a person qualify? How can one qualify with such an aptitude? Inferior level 1 soul aptitude. This is the worst soul aptitude I have ever seen. My family's grooms might have a better soul aptitude than him. Discussions echoed as everyone questioned the legitimacy of Yang Feng's admission qualifications. The Warlock College Antalya was one of the 6 major forces on Turandot Subcontinent. Those who wished to enter the Warlock College Antalya to study were as common as clouds. However, less than 1,000 people could enter the Warlock College Antalya to cultivate and tread the warlock path every year. The test of soul aptitude was only the first step. There was still a second screening. The students with level 5 soul aptitude or higher could stay in the Warlock College Antalya. As for students with level 4 soul aptitude, they still needed to be screened and weeded out. If sold on the black market, a slot in the Warlock College Antalya could go for 1,000 gold coins, and a lot of greater aristocrats would be willing to pay the price. With his inferior level 1 soul aptitude, Yang Feng's admittance into the Warlock College Antalya naturally attracted jealousy and resentment from countless people. As a large number of youngsters denounced him, Yang Feng thickened his face and pretended that he didn't hear anything. The official warlock teachers also didn't have a favorable impression of him. Looking coldly from the sidelines, they let the youngsters condemn Yang Feng. A handsome, brawny, and blonde and blue-eyed boy ridiculed viciously. "These Eastern yellow monkeys have no sense shame to dare come to the Warlock College Antalya with inferior level 1 soul aptitude. I suggest that we apprehend them, stuff them into a cage, and feed them bananas, and then throw them out." Listening to those malicious words, Yang Feng creased his eyebrows, and then turned and looked in the direction of the boy. He saw the blonde and blue-eyed boy and several other youngsters with extraordinary temperament standing beside the girl with the superior level 6 soul aptitude in a small group. With cold and derisive expressions, the youngsters in the small group looked at Yang Feng with eyes full of undisguised contempt and malice. The memories of a lot of people were stored in 3790 SIXS database. After browsing through those memories, Yang Feng had now a considerable understanding regarding the Turandot Subcontinent's local customs and practices. The Turandot Subcontinent society was predominantly composed of Caucasians. In addition to Caucasians, there were also many Asians from the continent's eastern world wandering about. On the Turandot Subcontinent, a lot of Caucasians discriminated against Asians, thinking that the Asians have come to steal their jobs, achievements, land, and opportunities to become warlocks. At the time, Zhao Zhang's ancestor had enough achievements to be conferred the title of Viscount by the Fernando Principality. However, under the pressure of the other aristocrats, he could barely be bestowed the title of Baron. Furthermore, he was banished to the remote Autumn Leaf Village. It was very difficult for Asians to integrate into the mainstream society. To fully integrate it into the Turandot Subcontinent's mainstream society, it may require several or even a dozen generations' worth of great effort. Chapter 45. Let's Fight to the Death. Chapter 45. Let's Fight to the Death. Translator, Zayamoj. With his inferior level 1 soul aptitude, for Yang Feng to be able to join the Warlock College Antalya filled all the youngsters here with unwillingness. Even though they also felt that the blonde boy's words were extremely malicious, but the majority kept silent and observed the goings-on from the sidelines. Yang Feng swept the boy with a glance. Killing intent flashed in his eyes, and he uttered coldly, "Who are you?" The boy looked at Yang Feng and smiled in ridicule, saying, "I am Bantanya, the third successor of the Titania Principality's Sanger family. Why, you want to duel with me, yellow monkey?" Yang Feng responded with an indifferent smile. "I am Yang Feng, the sole kin of the Steel City's city master. I'm the Steel City's sole successor. You just insulted the Steel City. As the representative of the Steel City, I declare war against the Titania Principality. The Steel City's 100,000 mechanical golem legion is going to flatten the Titania Principality. We won't stop until the Sanger family is uprooted." "What? The Steel City wants to go to war with the Titania Principality. The Steel City, what sort of force is it? Is it the Warlock group that a short time ago defeated the Fernando Principality and killed an official level 2 Warlock of the Fernando Principality? No. Reportedly, the Eye of Demonic Snake, Fong of White Bear, and the Fernando family, these 3 forces attacked the Steel City together, yet were defeated. Supposedly, nearly half of the Fernando family's Blood Bat Knights were killed. The majority of the youngsters gathered at the Warlock College Antalya came from greater aristocratic families of the Southern States Coalition's different states, and many even came from some formidable Warlock families. As such, the information at there surpassed that of ordinary people by far. The news of the Steel City defeating the Fernando Principality shocked the entire Southern States Coalition, and the majority of the youngsters knew about this news. Only some ordinary students that had a commoner background didn't knew of this. When Bantanya heard those words, his face turned pale at once and his body trembled from fear. His statement was meant to infuriate Yang Feng and prompt him into a duel. With his advanced warrior rank strength, he was certain that he could defeat and even heavily injure Yang Feng, mercilessly humiliating him once again. He didn't expect that because of some words, his family would be drawn into a war with the Steel City. Bantanya contemplated for a moment, and then regained a bit of his calm. His face pale, he braced himself and said loudly, "Impossible! You're merely the Steel Lord's nephew. Even if you are his only kin, you still can't represent the entire Steel City to declare war against the Titania Principality." The eyes of the remaining aristocratic youngsters flashed with suspicion as they looked at Yang Feng. Updated from freeobnul.com. Neglecting war begets danger, courting war begets death. Every formidable force was very cautious when it came to starting wars. The militant forces that continuously started new wars would quickly decline due to the wars. No successor of a Warlock group, not even the first successor, could represent the Warlock group to randomly declare war against another Warlock group. freoebnovel.com. Under the suspicious gazes of the various people, Yang Feng calmly fished out a palm-sized steel box and lightly pressed it. That steel box radiated light that converged into the projection of a 2-meter-tall middle-aged man dressed in a silver-white warlock robe with a silver thread on the cuffs in the air. Yang Feng bowed to the projection of a middle-aged man in the air and said, "Uncle, this is Bantanya, the third successor of the Titania Principality's Sanger family." He made a malicious statement discriminating against our ethnicity. "On behalf of the Steel City, I formally declared war against the Titania Principality." Countless gazes concentrated on Yang Feng's avatar, the Steel Lord Yang Yi. On Turandot Subcontinent, only forces with level 3 warlocks might be able to somewhat contend against 100,000 knight rank golems, and only peak warlock forces with great warlock standing guard could grasp victory. In the Southern States Coalition, only the Warlock College Antalya possessed great warlock rank experts, while the other forces only had level 3 warlocks at most. The Steel City could already be classified as an important force in the Southern States Coalition, and its every move was eye-catching. Bantanya gazed at Yang Ye's projection in the air. Face pale, shivering, he looked like he was awaiting trial. The beautiful girl with superior level 6 soul aptitude stared at Yang Ye's projection in the air, hostility in her beautiful eyes. Yang Ye's projection in the air nodded and said gently, "You're right. I will issue a declaration of war to the Titania Principality, and I'll immediately send troops to attack the Titania Principality and uproot the Sanger family. Everyone who allies with the Titania Principality, my mechanical golem legion will wipe them out of existence." Yang Ye's projection pointed to Bantanya's small group and said with cruelty and killing intent in his voice, "As for you who stay together with this Sanger family's waste, am I correct to assume that your families are going to join forces with his family to fight the Steel City to the death?" An aristocratic youngster standing beside Bantanya bowed courteously towards Yang Yi in salute and uttered, "Your Excellency City Master, I am Mankis, the 8th successor of the Lex Principality's Botany family. I just met Bantanya, so there is no deep friendship between us. My family doesn't wish to be enemies with you." With that, Mankis immediately got away the small group, and then observed indifferently from the sidelines. "Your Excellency City Master." One after another, the people in the small group stepped forward and bowed respectfully towards Yang Ye's projection in salute, and then immediately left Bantanya's side. The people in the small group were all elites from their respective families, although they felt disdain for the Asian Yang Feng, but they wouldn't easily reveal it. And faced with a formidable warlock capable of killing level 2 warlocks, they would stay humble. In front of a warlock, ordinary people must be humble. This was the first rule of the Turandot Subcontinent states. When violators of this rule, even aristocrats, were killed by an official warlock, there was no legal recourse to sanction said official warlock. This was the world of warlocks. Chapter 46, Begging Abjectly for Mercy. Chapter 46, Begging Abjectly for Mercy. Translator, Zayamoj. Visit fruyobnul.com for the best novel reading experience. That beautiful girl with the superior level 6 soul aptitude also bowed slightly towards Yang Ye's projection in salute and said indifferently, "Your Excellency City Master, I am Jessica, the 3rd successor of the Fernandro Principality's Fernandro family. My family also doesn't wish to be enemies with you," no matter how much Jessica hated Yang Yi. But in front on a formidable official warlock, she still must show humility. Otherwise, it would give the Steel City a pretext to start a war once again. The Fernandro family already had its vigor injured due to the previous war with the Steel City. Jessica was distinctly clear about the Steel City's strength. Against 100,000 knight-rank mechanical golems, even if the two great families, the Fernandro family and the Sanger family, joined forces, they still wouldn't be necessarily the Steel City's match. With that, under Bantanya's desperate gaze, Jessica also left his side. The small group at once collapsed and fell apart. Bantanya, who just a moment ago was still full of mettle and wanted to show off in front of the girls, stood there all alone by himself. A gloomy look on his face, teacher responsible for the aptitude examination stood up and asked Yang Ye's projection, "Yang Yi, I am Yuri, a teacher at the Warlock College Antalya and a level 1 warlock. The Titania Principality is an important member of the Southern States Coalition. The Southern States Coalition prohibits the starting of wars without a cause or reason. Do you really want to violate the laws drafted by the Warlock College Antalya?" The Southern States Coalition was the Warlock College Antalya's foundation. The Warlock College Antalya fundamentally didn't allow internal conflict within the Southern States Coalition. Yang Ye's projection swept Yuri with a glance, and then said coldly, "Yuri, I don't have the desire to violate the laws drafted by the Warlock College Antalya. However, this ant insulted me. A warlock's dignity is inviolable. In order to uphold the dignity of a warlock, I have the right to retaliate against him and his family. I've decided to wipe him and his family out. Only this way can I quell my rage. Anything standing in the way of my vengeance is an enemy. Not knowing how to respond, Yuri fell silent. The Turandot Subcontinent was a place ruled by warlocks. A warlock's dignity was inviolable. Once an ordinary person insulted the dignity of a warlock, they would receive the terrifying retaliation of said warlock. This was a warlock's right. Bantania's sole attribute was intermediate level 5 and he possessed advanced warrior rank strength. He was regarded as a genius among the youngsters, but he was an ordinary person nonetheless as he wasn't a warlock. Now that he insulted a warlock, Yang Feng's desire to uproot his family was reasonable and proper. Eyes filled with despair, Bantania shouted at the top of his lungs. Mighty Sir Steel Lord, I didn't insult you. I swear on my life that I didn't mean to insult you. Yang Feng stepped forward and deliberately distorted the facts. Uncle! He said that we Asians are yellow monkeys, that we should be stuffed into cages and be fed bananas, that we have no qualifications to become warlocks, nor join the Warlock College Antalya. Yang Yi looked down coldly at Bantania and said grimly, Is the Warlock College Antalya? Conflict isn't permitted. I won't deal with you in here. However, as long as you leave the Warlock College Antalya, the Steel City's 100,000-strong mechanical golem legion will erase you from the face of the earth. Bantania knelt on the ground and shouted himself hoarse, pleading, Mighty Steel Lord Yang Yi, I implore you, please let me off. I really didn't meant it. I apologize. Yang Feng, I'm sorry. I beg you to spare me. Please let me off. Yang Feng didn't even spare Bantania a glance. On the Turandot Subcontinent, Caucasians were the main ethnic group, and it was very difficult for Asians to integrate in this society. As such, so long as Yang Feng showed any weakness, he would be bullied. He didn't want to be bullied, and if he could seize this opportunity to annex the Titania Principality, then his power would receive a huge boost once again. Yang Feng's territory currently bordered on the Savage Claw's Dynixia Empire and on the Rose Garden's Rosa Empire. The Savage Claw and Rose Garden were two of the 6 major forces. If he wanted to expand his territory, the only option he had was to invade the Dynixia Empire or the Rosa Empire. If the Savage Claw didn't dispatch great warlock rank experts, then Yang Feng was certain that he could seize the Dynixia Empire. However, once the Savage Claw dispatches great warlock rank experts, then his odds at victory would be reduced to the lowest. It was very difficult for Yang Feng to expand under such circumstances. Now that he got this opportunity, he naturally wouldn't easily let it slip past his fingers. At this moment, a terrifying pressure gushed out from within the Warlock College Antalya and enveloped the area. Under the terrifying pressure, everyone's faces paled, and they trembled. Yang Feng's face fell. Body brimming with fear, he almost couldn't help but kneel down. At this moment, the level 1 secret treasure green heart, which looked like a green leaf, radiated green light on Yang Feng's chest, weakening the terrifying pressure by more than 50%. Only then could he barely bear that pressure without kneeling down and losing face. A gate appeared out of nowhere and opened, and a foul wind spewed out from within. Then, a large scarlet hand extended from within the gate, grabbed Yang Feng, and pulled him inside the gate. After Yang Feng entered, the gate closed and faded into thin air. Yang Feng's vision swam, and then he saw himself appear in a hall. In the center of the hall sat a middle-aged man with silver hair. As if the sun, he radiated terrific fluctuations of power. When Yang Feng looked at the middle-aged man with silver hair, a piercing pain stabbed into his eyes. As if he had looked directly at the sun, he suddenly couldn't see. I am Scarlet Hand Blitz. A powerful soothing power suddenly entered Yang Feng, poured into his eyes, and soothed the pain. At the same time, a flat voice sounded inside the hall. Tears flowed down Yang Feng's face, and his heart shook. Scarlet Hand Blitz. He's the most formidable level 3 warlock of the Warlock College Antalya, and is known as the man closest to the great warlock rank. How astounding! Yang Ye's projection bowed towards Blitz in salute and spoke respectfully. I am the Steel City's city master Yang Yi. Well met, Sir Blitz. Blitz declared flatly yet overbearingly. I know what happened. The Steel City isn't allowed to wage war against the Titania Principality. Chapter 47 Conditions. Chapter 47 Conditions. Translator, Zayamoj. Yang Ye's projection was silent for a moment, and then said respectfully, I'll comply with your orders. However, I ask that you permit the Steel City to start a war with the Sanger family. Blitz responded coldly, No. Anger welled up in Yang Feng's heart, and under his command, Yang Ye's projection fell silent, shedding the frank appearance from just a moment ago. Blitz uttered lightly, I can have the Sanger family provide you with a compensation, 10,000 magic stones. I'll have them pay you 10,000 magic stones for their foolishness. 10,000 magic stones was equivalent to 1 million gold coins. Fernando Principality lost to Yang Feng and had to pay him, however, 300,000 magic stones in war reparations, which has added some pressure to the Fernando family. As for the Sanger family, a warlock group that wasn't in charge of a state, 10,000 magic stones was definitely a huge sum of money. Yang Ye's projection spoke respectfully. I have no need for magic stones. I only ask that you agree to my 4 requests. First, let my nephew enter the Warlock College Antalya's secret method tower and choose a secret method that can be used to advance to the Great Warlock rank. Second, please give my nephew a vial of Mermaid Tears elixir. Third, give me Bantania's severed head. Fourth, I ask that my niece can be exempt from the admission test. The Warlock College Antalya's secret method tower contained countless secret methods, and there was no lack of secret methods that could be used to advance to the Great Warlock rank. The reason why the Warlock College Antalya could become one of the Turandot Subcontinent's 6 major forces was because it churned out great warlocks for several thousands of years without stop. Even at its weakest, it still had 2 great warlock backers. One of the principal reasons behind this were the secret method tower's myriad of secret methods, which could enable the geniuses to choose different secret methods according to their circumstance to practice cultivation. Mermaid Tears elixir was an elixir capable of altering the soul aptitude of cultivators. It was of higher grade than Blue Mirage Banshee elixir, and was more difficult to concoct. Each vial of the elixir was worth at least 8,000 gold coins. Furthermore, there was no market for it. Although Blue Mirage Banshee elixir was rare, but it still could be bought from time to time in the market. However, Mermaid Tears elixir would only occasionally appear in auctions or the black market. In the Warlock College Antalya, Mermaid Tears elixir was bought out by official warlocks, with only a miserly amount of it leaking outside. Although he acquired a huge amount of magic stones, yet Yang Feng had no way to purchase this rare elixir. Blitz's eyebrows furrowed, and he responded in a deep voice. If your nephew signs a soul contract, one that prohibits him from transmitting the secret methods in any shape or form to anyone, including any of your own people, then I can agree to your request. Yang Feng's soul aptitude was only at inferior level 1. In Blitz's view, even if Yang Yi staked everything on collecting soul aptitude strengthening elixirs, then would be able to promote Yang Feng's soul aptitude until around level 3 at most. With level 3 soul attribute, even with a great warlock rank secret method inheritance, level 3 apprentice warlock rank would be your limit. Yang Ye's projection uttered respectfully, Fine, I'll have him sign the soul contract. Standing respectfully to the side, Yang Feng's lips curved slightly, and a glint of amusement glimmered in his eyes. Sign this soul contract. Blitz took out the soul contract made from the leather of some powerful extraordinary life form, and then handed it to Yang Feng. After carefully examining the soul contract and making sure that there were no issues, Yang Feng signed it. After he signed the contract, the leather combusted into a dark blue flame without any heat. That dark blue flame suddenly flew out, entered Yang Feng's forehead, and disappeared. Blitz tossed a silver badge at Yang Feng and said flatly, Once you promote to an apprentice warlock, hold this badge and you can enter the secret method tower. With your current physical constitution, you'll die if you enter the secret method tower. You don't even qualify to accept a secret method inheritance. Warlock secret treasures possessed freakishly powerful powers. Ordinary people fundamentally couldn't come into contact with Warlock secret treasures. The secret method tower was one of the core places of the Warlock College Antalya, and as such, possessed the defensive power of countless secret treasures. Just the fluctuations of power dispersed by the secret treasures could easily kill an ordinary person such as Yang Feng. Yang Feng saluted Blitz respectfully towards and uttered, "Many thanks, Sir Blitz." Blitz swept Yang Feng with a cold glance and waved his hand, and the gate emerged once again. A large scarlet hand appeared out of thin air, grabbed Yang Feng, and tossed him into the gate. The most up-to-date novels are published on freewebnovel.com. Yang Feng felt a burst of dizziness, and his vision swam, and then he appeared on the Warlock College Antalya's examination site once more. At the Warlock College Antalya's examination site, the youngsters from the Southern States Coalition looked at Yang Feng with dread in their eyes, and no one dared to talk about him anymore. Sweeping the surroundings with a glance, Yang Feng discovered that Bantanya was already missing. Jessica from the Fernandro family was staring at him hatefully. Without an excuse, even though the Steel City was far stronger than the Fernandro family, it still couldn't fight the Fernandro family. Otherwise, it would be defying the laws drafted by the Warlock College Antalya. By then, in order of uphold its dignity, the Warlock College Antalya would send countless experts to deal with Yang Feng's Steel City. Not paying Jessica any attention, Yang Feng stood there alone. At the examination site, many aristocratic youngsters from the Southern States Coalition have already formed small circles. No small circle has taken the initiative to approach Yang Feng. Yang Feng's performance just now gave rise to conflicting emotions in the hearts of many of the youngsters. Although they didn't dare to openly contend against him, but they used their silence to reject him. Yang Feng didn't care about it, the rejection of the youngsters. Braving the huge risks, he came to the Warlock College Antalya to tread the Warlock path. Once he promoted to the Great Warlock rank, then even though he was an Asian, there would be countless people fawning on him. Standing beside Yang Feng was Xuanhuan, who was admitted without having her soul aptitude examined. FGEWebNovel.com. The gazes of the youngsters focused on Xuanhuan standing beside Yang Feng, and a lot of them birthed favorable impressions of her. The only thing restraining them from bothering her was the fear they felt for Yang Feng standing by her side. Chapter 48, Betty. Chapter 48, Betty. Translator, Zayamoj. After the first round of screening concluded, a total of more than 5,000 students met the standard in terms soul aptitude. The majority of the students possessed level 4 soul aptitude. The second round of screening began soon after the first round, and then the roster was immediately announced. Of the more than 5,000 students, 4,000 were weeded out, with only more than 1,000 remaining. Of the students with level 5 soul aptitude or higher, no one was eliminated. For the students with level 4 soul aptitude, they had to combine into their background and connections to get the chance to enter the Warlock College Antalya to study. For ordinary students without any background, unless they possessed level 5 soul aptitude or higher, it was fundamentally impossible to get the qualifications to enter the Warlock College Antalya to study. Under normal circumstance, Yang Feng had any qualifications to join the Warlock College Antalya to study. Congratulations to you that passed the second round of screening. You got the qualifications to join the Warlock College Antalya to study here. You have 3 years to study all kinds of knowledge. After 3 years, there will be another screening. Those who haven't advanced to a level 1 apprentice warlock will be eliminated. Do your best. The day after the screening, the students gathered in a large square of the Warlock College Antalya, where an expressionless black-robed official warlock gave a speech. Shortly after the black-robed warlock was finished, Yang Feng and the other students were approached by students 1 year their senior. Hello, I am Betty, a student 1 year your senior. Are you the Steel Lord's nephew Yang Feng and niece Xuanhuan? A beautiful girl with a head full of blonde hair, a fiery figure, some freckles on her face, and fair skin walked up to Yang Feng's group of 2 and asked with a smile. When Betty got close, she carefully examined Xuanhuan's peerless appearance, and a glint of jealousy flickered past her beautiful eyes, and then she plastered a sweet smile on her face. freewebvl.com. The source of this content is freewebnovel.com. Yang Feng responded with a faint smile. That's right. I am Yang Feng and this is my little sister Xuanhuan. Betty uttered with a smile. The college has arranged for me to be your guide and help you gain a basic understanding of the Warlock College Antalya. Please come with me. Yang Feng nodded, and then he and Xuanhuan followed Betty into the Warlock College Antalya. The Warlock College Antalya is split into the outer and inner court. The outer court is where students who have yet to become apprentice warlocks like us stay. The inner court is where the elite students who have already promoted to apprentice warlocks reside and study. Before receiving a summon, we aren't allowed to casually enter the inner court. Otherwise, we'll be punished. As she took Yang Feng's group of 2 for a walk, Betty informed them about the Warlock College Antalya's do's and don'ts. The Warlock College Antalya possessed a strict hierarchy. Official warlocks as well as apprentice warlocks resided in the inner court where the ancient energy-absorbing tree was located. The Warlock College Antalya's inner court was perpetually shrouded by a powerful energy force field, which separated the college's inner and outer courts. The inner court was enveloped by formidable magic energy. As such, practicing cultivation there was by far more beneficial than in the outer court. The inner court was the quintessence of the Warlock College Antalya. As she explained, Betty handed Yang Feng a price list. Studying the various bodies of knowledge in the Warlock College Antalya isn't free. This is a price list and a schedule for the various courses. Continent's Common Language, 20 gold coins per lesson. Basic Ancient God Language, 100 gold coins per lesson. Basic Dragon Language, 100 gold coins per lesson. Basic Fiend Language, 100 gold coins per lesson. Basic Elven Language, 100 gold coins per lesson. Basic Study of Planes, 200 gold coins per lesson. Basic Mathematics, 20 gold coins per lesson. Basic Geometry, 20 gold coins per lesson. Basic Anthropology, 20 gold coins per lesson. Basic Melee Arts, 20 gold coins per lesson. Basic Politology, 20 gold coins per lesson. Basic War Tactics, 20 gold coins per lesson. The price list contained a variety of courses, illustrating that a large amount of gold coins was required to learn any given piece of knowledge. Ordinary people couldn't afford to study them. As for aristocrats, they would get a headache once they saw the amount of gold coins they had to spend in order to be able to attend those courses. As for lesser aristocrats such as Zhao Jiang, the income of several generations would enable them to attend 4 lessons of basic fiend language at most. This perfectly illustrated how expensive knowledge in this world was. On the Turandot Subcontinent, knowledge was firmly controlled by greater aristocrats with warlock bloodlines. For ordinary people, unless their soul aptitude was incredible and they were lucky enough to get a warlock inheritance, it would be very hard for them to have any remarkable achievements. Body Tempering Warlock Intermediate Secret Method, 10,000 gold coins or 90 low-grade magic stones, can be cultivated until the level 3 apprentice warlock rank. Yang Feng's gaze fell on the last line, and his eyebrows creased, saying, "Body tempering warlock secret methods are so expensive. How can ordinary people have so much money to learn this secret method?" Betty said with a slight smile, "The Warlock College Antalya provides loan services. Each student may acquire a body tempering warlock secret method in exchange for a 3-year interest-free loan. Other bodies of knowledge can be freely taught to others. But as for body tempering warlock secret methods, once it was discovered that they were transmitted to others, you will be reduced to a slave of the Warlock College Antalya as punishment." Yang Feng's eyes flashed with admiration, and he mused, "What a brilliant method!" Thus, just in tuition fees, the Warlock College Antalya can easily collect 90,000 magic stones every year. Knowledge is wealth and power. This statement describes the Turandot Subcontinent's inner workings the best. After he looked at the prices in front of the courses, Yang Feng rejoiced in his heart. "Fortunately, I have the Steel City's wealth at my disposal. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be able to afford to study here." Betty warned them, "The ordinary students who lack money can go to the mission hall to accept missions. However, for people like us who haven't reached the apprentice warlock rank, those missions are very dangerous. You shouldn't accept them." Yang Feng nodded. The Steel City's sphere of influence was practically equivalent to half of the Fernandro Principality, netting him enormous wealth each day. He naturally wouldn't go and accept those dangerous missions. Before promoting to an official warlock, he wasn't interested in adventuring. Betty kindly warned, apart from the body-tempering warlock secret method, for each qualifying mark that you get from the courses, you'll get 1 point, while for each excellent mark, you'll get 5 points. 100 points can be traded in for a level 0 spell model. Of course, if you want to buy a level 0 spell model instead, then you'll have to fork out 20 low-grade magic stones. Basic God language, basic fiend language, basic dragon language, and basic elven language are the prerequisite courses in order to learn a lot of powerful spells. Mathematics and geometry are crucial for constructing spell models. Basic biology is the prerequisite course for the study of variation and the study of bloodline variation. If you wish to become an official warlock, then you should start thinking about the direction in which you want to develop, and then study the corresponding prerequisite courses. Chapter 49 Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir. Chapter 49 Blue Mirage Banshee Elixir. Translator, Zayamoj. Yang Feng responded with a light smile. Thank you for your warning. Okay, now for the gratuity. Betty smiled, and then extended her hand towards Yang Feng. The Warlock College Antalya's human resources are quite pricey. In accordance with the established practice, for serving as your guide, you should pay me the corresponding gratuity. The norm is 2 gold coins, but as you both are pleasing to the eye, just give me 1 gold coin, and let's be friends. All right? Yang Feng gave her a bright smile, then took out a magic stone and placed it in Betty's hand. This is a magic stone. When Betty saw the small low-grade magic stone in her hand, she became somewhat excited as well as unsettled, and she spoke in a trembling voice. There was a struggle on her pretty face, and then she solemnly returned the magic stone to Yang Feng. That's a magic stone. It's too precious. My service isn't worth a magic stone. Apprentice warlock rank experts could slowly absorb the magic energy dispersed by the magic stones and promote their physical constitution. Additionally, magic stones could serve as energy cores for golems, ingredients for elixirs, feed to raise freaks, energy sources for magic arrays. Read LAT-ST chapters at freewebnov.co only. Magic stones had a wide range of use, but they were still consumables. Thus, even though magic stone veins were being discovered continuously, yet the price of magic stones still rose slowly. A magic stone was equivalent to 100 gold coins. At least that was the price at which money changers purchased magic stones. In fact, money changers sold magic stones at 140 gold coins per magic stone at the very least. In some remote places where magic stones were rare, 1 magic stone could even be sold at 200 gold coins per magic stone. Magic stones were an abundant resource in the Warlock College Antalya, but if you wanted to buy them in a store, then you still had to pay 135 gold coins per magic stone. For Betty, who wasn't even an apprentice warlock, a magic stone was very valuable. Yang Feng smiled and handed Betty the magic stone. I think your service is worth this much. Betty's pretty face blushed. Her pretty eyes flashed with an enigmatic gleam, and she smiled sweetly at Yang Feng and gave him a small slip of paper with her address. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can come find for me at this address. With that, Betty turned and left in large strides. Xuanhuan's gem-like beautiful eyes flashed with a depraved glint, and she said with a chuckle, Big brother, this gold digger Betty was clearly tempted. If you smack her with some magic stones again, then she'll quite easily spread her legs and become your bitch. What are you thinking in that little mush head of yours? I came to the Warlock College Antalya to study and tread the warlock path. Yang Feng flicked Xuanhuan's forehead and uttered, vexed. By interacting with Xuanhuan these days, he came to realize that this lowly born from a taboo stone was not only extremely talented, but was also weird, and had a trace of a wicked aura, causing him some headache. You're not allowed to flick my forehead. I'm not a child. If you flick my forehead again, then I won't pay you any more attention. Xuanhuan slapped Yang Feng's hand away and stared fumingly at him. However, she was just too adorable, so her stare wasn't effective, it just made Yang Feng feel humorous. He said with a light smile, Let's go. Let's head back. All right. Xuanhuan nodded and, like a small tail, followed Yang Feng back to their quarters. The Warlock College Antalya occupied an extremely wide area, and student dormitories in the college were numerous. There was room for everyone in the dormitories. Of course, the accommodation wasn't cheap. Just in accommodations, the college would collect 500 gold coins every year. Of course, the ordinary students could choose big dorm rooms where dozens of people were crammed in a room, which only cost 10 gold coins per year. Yang Feng had the Steel City's wealth. Naturally, he and Xuanhuan rented a large private dormitory with a bathroom, a washroom, and a kitchen. Shortly after Yang Feng returned to the dormitory, the door was knocked, and a voice came from outside. "Hello, are you Yang Feng? I'm here to deliver you the goods from the Warlock College Antalya." Yang Feng opened the door, and then saw a youngster dressed in ordinary student clothes standing outside with a box clasped between his hands. "These are 10 vials of blue Mirage Banshee elixir, and this is a black crystal card. You can use this crystal card in the Warlock College Antalya's major banks to withdraw the corresponding number of magic stones. However, I would like to remind you, if you ever need to withdraw a large amount that exceeds 50,000 magic stones, then please make an appointment in advance. Otherwise, small-time bank branches might not have enough magic stones for you to make a withdrawal at a moment's notice. The best would be to make an appointment 5 days in advance." As the youngster spoke, he opened the box, revealing 10 extremely beautiful vials of elixir radiating resplendent blue light, as well as a black crystal card. When the youngster saw the 10 vials of elixir as well as the crystal card, his eyes flashed with a trace of greed before quickly regaining their tranquility. Inside the Warlock College Antalya, if he showed any suspicious behavior, then he would be beyond salvation. He would be reduced to a human test subject, which would spell out utter misery. Yang Feng received the 10 vials of blue Mirage Banshee elixir, and then opened one of them. Traces of blue radiance wafted out from within the vial and condensed into the projection of a mesmerizing and beautiful girl. As the projection looked pitiably at Yang Feng and the youngster, its cherry lips opened and closed continuously as if she was saying something. Yang Feng looked at the blue projection of a girl, and his eyes flashed with praise. "So this is blue Mirage Banshee elixir. The means of warlocks are truly profound." After he inspected the 10 vials of blue Mirage Banshee elixir as well as the crystal card, Yang Feng accepted them and gave the courier a 2 gold coin gratuity. "This is for your trouble." Yang Feng went back to their quarters, and then handed Xuanhuan 3 vials of blue Mirage Banshee elixir. Xuanhuan swept the 3 vials with a glance, and then smiled happily and returned them to Yang Feng. "I don't need them, big brother. My soul aptitude is superior level 8. In order to promote my soul aptitude, it would require treasures of much higher grade. Big brother, you need them more than I do." Yang Feng smiled and handed her the 3 vials of blue Mirage Banshee elixir once again. "It's okay. You can use blue Mirage Banshee elixir until you develop a resistance to it. Anyway, there's not going to be a shortage of this elixir." 3796. Analyze the blue Mirage Banshee elixir. Yang Feng threw a vial of blue Mirage Banshee elixir to a human-shaped robot standing aside and ordered. Mechanical tentacles extended from the human-shaped robot and entered the vial. Begin analysis of the elixir. Analyzing feasibility. The elixir can be analyzed and synthesized. Begin modeling. Analysis rate at 0.01%. With the current computing power, it is estimated that the elixir will be fully analyzed within 5 days. 3796 quickly sent back a string of messages. Chapter 50 Eunice. Chapter 50 Eunice. Translator, Zayamoj. Yang Feng asked, "As I remember, you're still analyzing dragon blood elixir. Won't the simultaneous analysis of 2 types of elixir influence the rate of analysis?" 3796 said, "Not at all. I've made another supercomputing chip, so the simultaneous analysis of 2 types of elixir won't affect the rate of analysis. The other supercomputing chip was installed with a self-destruction device. As long as it leaves my control for even a second, then I have the confidence in destroying it. Now let's promote my soul aptitude." Yang Feng took out a vial of blue Mirage Banshee elixir, uncorked it, and gulped it down. When blue Mirage Banshee elixir entered his mouth, it began to squirm, giving off the impression that he was swallowing a huge bug. The moans of a beautiful woman came from him. It hurts. Visit frioubinovel.co for the BST novel reading experience. Waves of pain spread from within his body, making him feel like his head would burst. He tumbled to the ground and struggled in pain for a while before finally passing out from the pain. A mysterious life energy force field began the strengthening of the host's physical constitution. The probability that the pain will threaten the host's life is at 9%, not severing host's sense of pain. Proceeding with the strengthening. freewebnovel.com. Strings of messages flashed on Yang Feng's eyeglasses. After an unknown period of time, Yang Feng finally woke up. What's this stench? When he woke up, he asked about the stench coming from him. He gave it a careful look and discovered that every inch of his body was effusing a black, oily, and smelly refuse. Xuanhuan's sweet voice came from the side. Big brother, the bath water is ready. All right. Yang Feng immediately stood up and entered the bathroom in large strides. After he washed away the black, oily, and smelly refuse, Yang Feng entered the bathtub filled with hot water and soaked in the comfortable hot water, and then ordered at once, "Scan my body." Yang Feng, basic attributes, strength 1.1, agility 1.2, physique 1, spirit 1. Bloodline, Earthling waste. Soul aptitude, inferior level 1. General evaluation classified as a level 1 life form. Evolution potential, small. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a trace of excitement, and he praised, "No wonder this elixir costs 5,000 magic stones. Its effect is great." After practicing the magic notes Titan art for 10 days except for his spirit force, all of his attributes rose by 0.1. But during those 10 days, he also drank a lot of healing water in order to be able to practice cultivation at such a fast rate. Furthermore, the further you advance in your practice of cultivation, the more difficult it is to increase your attributes. However, the vial of Blue Mirage Banshee elixir promoted his physical constitution by a wide margin, which was simply unreasonable. If Blue Mirage Banshee elixir appeared on Earth, then selling a vial of it would definitely garner a sky-high price. Yang Feng uttered, "Analyze my body and formulate the best way of practicing cultivation. Begin analysis. Begin modeling. The analysis requires 30 seconds. Begin countdown. 30. With your current physical constitution, you can use 1 vial of Blue Mirage Banshee elixir every day. The medicinal effects of the elixir can be enhanced by simultaneously practicing the magic notes Titan art. After 100 days, it is estimated that your soul aptitude will promote to superior level 2 and your constitution will break through the ordinary human boundary, and you will promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock." Yang Feng's eyes glimmered with delight. Warlock means are truly mystical. Without Blue Mirage Banshee elixir, my physical constitution wouldn't be able to break trough to the knight rank my whole life. However, so long as there's enough Blue Mirage Banshee elixir, then I can easily break through and become an apprentice warlock. Having enough resources is such a pleasing feeling. Previously, 3796 has came to the conclusion that if Yang Feng practiced a knight rank secret method Thunder Ox art, then throughout his entire life, he would be unable to promote to a knight rank expert. But now, as long as there was a large amount of Blue Mirage Banshee elixir, then he could promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock within 100 days. This was Warlock means for you. The admitted students were divided into 20 classes, with every class having 50 students or so. Yang Feng and Xuanhuan were both assigned to Class 10. When Yang Feng and Xuanhuan entered the classroom, gazes brimming with complicated emotions focused on them. Even though Yang Feng's appearance was ordinary, but he was the mighty Steel City's sole successor. Just a sentence of his spelled Bantania's death, making the students in Class 10 extremely afraid of him. As for Xuanhuan, her peerless appearance and natural charm naturally attracted all of the gazes in Class 10. Gars came over and said with a smile, "Yang Feng, what a coincidence. We're in the same class." Such a coincidence. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth curved and his eyes flashed with a smile. His gaze fell on the 4 youngsters behind Gars. Among the 4 youngsters, there were the 2 girls Bella and Irina and the 2 boys Luca and Leal. Gars, Luca, and Leal had inferior level 4 soul aptitude. Bella had intermediate level 4 soul aptitude, and Irina had a superior level 4 soul aptitude. Bella was a petite girl with an ordinary appearance and short blue hair. Irina was a tall and beautiful girl with a rather lovely appearance as well as some dangerous curves. Including Gars, the 5 youngsters were rescued by Yang Feng in the Hunting Fangs wilderness. After some polite banter, the relationship between both parties quickly became much closer. Gars spoke meaningfully. Yang Feng, we entered Class 10. How lucky? Yang Feng asked curiously. Lucky? Gars adopted a vulgar yet mysterious smile and looked towards the entrance of the classroom. Heh, you'll soon understand. Yang Feng followed Gars' gaze. A 1.76-meter tall gorgeous woman looking to be 23 or 24 years old, dressed in a silver low-cut warlock robe that exposed her legs, with a pair of breasts threatening to burst out the clothing, bright and glossy sun-like golden hair, exquisite and tender silk-like skin, and sensual and exquisite facial features, and exuding a sensual charm of formidable aura gracefully walked into the classroom. So beautiful! Such a beautiful woman could be the downfall of entire states. Yang Feng inhaled a mouthful of cold air, and his eyes flickered with a scorching light. In general, the skin of Caucasians was fairly rough. The skin of the giant stone city's #1 beauty Miss Sissy was awful, so she had to rely on makeup to conceal her many flaws. Yet the stunningly beautiful woman that entered the classroom had no such flaws. She didn't even use any makeup. Clearly, she was a formidable official warlock. Whether male or female, the students in Class 10 were deeply attracted to the stunningly beautiful woman, and their gazes revealed scorching gleams. Eunice revealed a lethally sweet smile. I am Eunice, the teacher of Class 10. Now let me tell you about the rules when studying here. Chapter 51, Sanger Family's Gift. Chapter 51, Sanger Family's Gift. Translator, Zayamoj. First of all, when the teacher speaks, you must keep quiet, or else you'll get directly expelled. Eunice gave a faint smile, and powerful life force effused from her and enveloped the entire classroom. So strong. A level 1 warlock is really formidable. Pressured by the terrifying life force, Yang Feng suddenly felt like he was pitted against a fierce and savage giant beast, and his body instinctively shivered in fear. The Mechanical Legion could kill an official level 1 warlock because it was strong enough. As for Yang Feng himself, he was incredibly weak. This was the first time he truly felt the strength of a level 1 warlock, who was an existence entirely different from an ordinary person. At this time, the level 1 secret treasure green heart hanging from Yang Feng's neck suddenly radiated with green light, freeing him from the pressure. In the entire classroom, in addition to Yang Feng, only Xuanhuan could withstand the pressure from Eunice's life force. Eunice swept Yang Feng's duo with a glance. Her gaze stayed on Xuanhuan for a moment, and a brilliant gleam flashed past her beautiful eyes. When Eunice retracted her formidable life force, the students covered in sweat heaved sighs of relief. Some male students who had no good intentions at first had their backs drenched in cold sweat, not daring so much as look at Eunice. I won't talk too much rubbish. You have to keep in mind that only a strong body can hold a strong spirit. Warlocks not only require large amounts of knowledge, but also a strong body. Conversely, in addition to a strong body, you also require an abundance of knowledge. In the following courses, you must get excellent marks. Otherwise, don't even dream about entering the inner court. Read LATST chapters at freewebnov.co only. The continent's common language, basic god language, basic dragon language, basic fiend language, basic elven language, basic study of planes, basic mathematics, basic geometry, basic biology, basic botany, basic elementology, the Turandot Subcontinent's modern history. My time is very precious, except for when in class. Don't ask me any questions unless you're willing to pay me magic stones. For 10 magic stones, you can ask me a question related to a basic course. The schedule of the courses has already been distributed to you. Go study the previously mentioned courses. All right, you can disperse. Eunice very quickly finished speaking, then turned around and left the classroom, looking like a queen. This is even more irresponsible than a university. All hinges on your own hard work and self-restraint. Looking at Eunice's back, Yang Feng mused. The following day verified Yang Feng's train of thought. The Warlock College Antalya's teachers were fundamentally powerful official warlocks. They came and went in a hurry, not permitting anyone to ask questions. They left after they finished speaking, paying the students no attention. But unlike in Earth's universities, the students in the Warlock College Antalya thirsted for knowledge, studying hard. No one dared to be the least bit negligent. The chance to enter the Warlock College Antalya to study was extremely hard to come by. Once these students miss this chance, they'll regret it for the rest of their lives. Yang Feng felt like he has returned to his high school days. During the day, he attended classes, following which, he went to the public library to take advantage of the microchip and record the information from books in the library in the database. The Warlock College Antalya's public library had an exceedingly large collection of books. In addition to books pertaining to cultivation of warlocks, there were books pertaining to any other possible field, politics, economics, military, literature, geography, to name a few. Although Yang Feng looked for a long time, but the information about the 8 great Warlock dynasties as well as the continent was still very scarce. Evidently, the knowledge pertaining to the continent was classified as a very valuable resource and was not placed in the public library. 5 days later, all of a sudden, knocking sounds came from the door to Yang Feng's quarters. A bladed robot went forward and opened the door. Standing outside the door was a rather handsome 18 or 17-year-old man in gray robe, with a head full of blue hair as well as a beautiful 14 or 15-year-old girl 1.73 meters in height, brimming with youthful vigor, with breasts the size of small cantaloupes and blue hair tied up in a single ponytail. Yang Feng swept the two people with a glance, and then creased his eyebrows and asked, "Who are you?" "I am Felix, the first successor of the Titania Principality's Sanger family. We came to sincerely apologize to you, Yang Feng. This is a token of our sincerity." The man with a head full of blue hair smiled, then took out a box and opened it. The severed head of the previously unbridled and rampant Bantanya was revealed inside. Bantania's face contained an expression of fear, resentment, and despair. Smiling, Felix took out a slave contract and handed it to Yang Feng. "The idiot Bantanya who offended your dignity. The Sanger family has already executed him. We hope that it will quell your wrath. This is Judy, Bantania's younger sister. She is our gift to you. She shall be your slave as of today." Her face pale, the girl with large milk jugs Judy had her fists clenched tight, and her beautiful eyes flashed with despair, not speaking a word. Sure enough, strength is justice and the truth. Yang Feng looked at the beautiful girl Judy, who had a stunning appearance and a fiery figure, and his eyes flashed with a peculiar glint. These past few days he had scouted the Sanger family out. The Sanger family was a several centuries-old warlock family. Currently, the sole warlock in the family only possessed intermediate level 1 warlock rank strength. The Sanger family didn't even have a warlock tower, so it wasn't even a match for the Black Cottage. Yang Feng could wipe out such a puny warlock family as easily as turning his hand. Obviously, the Sanger family was also clear about this point. As such, it not only took the initiative to offer Yang Feng Bantania's head, but also offered him Bantania's younger sister as a gift, all to avoid the calamity of having the family exterminated. Although the Southern States Coalition was controlled by the Warlock College Antalya, but there were still countless underhanded internal disputes due to conflicting interests. From time to time, some weak warlock families would be mysteriously killed off. The Sanger family didn't want to be eliminated without cause nor reason. In a warlock family, although there were a lot of elites, but there were also a lot of morons. The moron Bantanya believed that within the Warlock College Antalya, Yang Feng wouldn't be able to touch him. But never had he imagined that Yang Feng would compel his own family to come forward and offer Yang Feng his severed head. Chapter 52, Mermaid Tears Elixir. Chapter 52, Mermaid Tears Elixir. Translator, Zayamoj. Yang Feng carefully sized Judy standing next to Felix, and his eyes flashed with appreciation. Judy was young, had a seductive and fiery figure, had stunning looks, and was brimming with vigor. She was a rare beauty. In terms of appearance and temperament, she was of equal footing as the Fernandro family's third successor Jessica. Apart from Xuanhuan, Class 10 didn't have a girl that could compete with her in terms of looks. Judy. Basic attributes: Strength 1.3, Agility 1.4, Physique 1.1, Spirit 1.2. Bloodline human. Soul aptitude inferior level 4. General evaluation classified as a level 1 life form. Felix. Basic attributes: Strength 6.3, Agility 6.2, Physique 6.8, Spirit 7.2. Bloodline human. Soul aptitude inferior level 5. General evaluation classified as a level 5 life form. With a thought, Yang Feng's eyeglasses secretly scanned the attributes of Judy and Felix. Yang Feng didn't dare to launch his eyeglasses scanning ability and scan official warlocks. Otherwise, if the other party gets enraged and slaps him to death, he won't even have time to regret it. The dignity of warlocks must not be violated. An ordinary person such as Yang Feng, even if he was the Steel City's only successor, if he crossed the line and encroached on a warlock's interests, then the other party might squash him like a bug. Without having an assurance, Yang Feng didn't want to risk his life and scan a warlock. This gift is pretty good. Yang Feng took Judy's slave contract, put it aside, and said with a light smile. When Felix saw the slave contract being accepted, he finally loosened a breath in his heart, and then took out a box and opened it, revealing a vial of a transparent and colorless elixir and 5 mid-grade magic stones. These are a vial of Mermaid Tears elixir and 500 magic stones. This is a small expression of our goodwill. Please accept it. Yang Feng took the vial of Mermaid Tears elixir and pulled open the cork. Once the cork was pulled open, a strange force full of sorrow gushed out from the vial. Yang Feng seemed to see a beautiful and charming mermaid princess weep pitifully, deeply attracting his gaze, unable to extricate himself. Sorrow surged inside him and tears streamed down his face. Cough! At this point, Felix gave a soft cough, and a weak spirit fluctuation suddenly stabbed at Yang Feng, waking him from the hallucination. What a fearsome elixir! Feeling alarmed, Yang Feng immediately conked the vial. A lot of elixirs concocted by warlocks possessed mysterious and formidable powers. Some peak pharmacists could even use all kinds of elixirs to imitate the effects of formidable spells. However, pharmacists that used elixirs in battle were very rare because any elixir capable of imitating a formidable spell would have a very high cost attached to it. Using elixirs to do battle was equivalent to burning large quantities of magic stones to do battle. Apart from the top wealthy pharmacists, no one else would do that. In many cases, if the conditions for intake of elixirs concocted by warlocks wasn't met, then they would instead be no different from poison. Just like the dragon blood elixir. With Yang Feng's constitution of an ordinary person, if he had a sip of the elixir, his blood would get burned, and he would die. Yang Feng mused. Regarding the Mermaid Tears elixir, I would have to promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock to be able to consume it. Felix handed Yang Feng a palm-sized crystal box and said enthusiastically, Yang Feng, I'm currently a level 2 apprentice warlock. If there's anything you don't understand in your studies, you can come ask me. This is a communications box. Just select my name and press it, and you'll be able to enter in contact with me. This communications box is powered by magic stones. With 1 magic stone, it can support 10,000 hours of communication. However, this is only a level 0 secret treasure, and its range is just 3,000 kilometers. Isn't this a magical version of a cell phone? However, this only has the functions of communication. Yang Feng took the communications box and fiddled with it for a while as he mused. After passionately chatting with Yang Feng for a while, Felix left, satisfied. As if a kitten, Xuanhuan threw herself into Yang Feng's embrace. Embracing his neck with her lily-white arms, a flirtatious look in her eyes, she uttered, Big brother, I still lack a toy, no, a maid. Can I have her act as my maid for a while? I'll train her into a perfect maid for you. All right. She'll be your maid temporarily. Faced with Xuanhuan's coquettish offensive, The ordinary person Yang Feng couldn't withstand her natural charm. He could only reluctantly push her away and agree to her request. Yang Feng currently only wanted to upgrade his strength to level 1 apprentice warlock rank as soon as possible. "Thank you, big brother," Xuanhuan uttered cheerfully, hugged Yang Feng, and gave him a kiss on the cheek, and then pulled the somewhat alarmed Judy into another room. After he suppressed the strong craving evoked by Xuanhuan, Yang Feng tossed the vial of mermaid tears elixir to the robot standing next to him and said solemnly, "Analyze this elixir at once." That robot uncorked the vial and extended numerous mechanical tentacles inside. "Begin analysis of the elixir. Analyzing feasibility." This chapter is updated by fruubavel.cm. The elixir can be analyzed and synthesized. Begin modeling. Analysis rate at 0.01%. With the current computing power, it is estimated that the elixir will be completely analyzed within 45 days. 3796 quickly sent back of a series of messages. Yang Feng sighed in relief. "That's good. With this, I'll have another elixir capable of improving my soul aptitude." The Shizu evolutionary path was completely different from that of the Warlock evolutionary path. With its current ability, there were elixirs that 3796 couldn't analyze. Of course, with the improvement of its database, its ability to analyze was continuously enhanced. Since the Mermaid Tears elixir could be analyzed, it meant that Yang Feng's soul aptitude could be upgraded to level 3 or level 4 in the future. With this, he might promote to an official warlock. In the following days, Yang Feng was immersed in his studies, eagerly learning various bodies of knowledge each day. While consuming the Blue Mirage Banshee elixir, he could clearly perceive his physical constitution being enhanced every day. Simultaneously, his learning ability was enhanced and his spirit improved. Chapter 53 Promotion to a Level 1 Apprentice Warlock. Chapter 53 Promotion to a Level 1 Apprentice Warlock. Translator, Zayamoj. New Envel chapters are published on freewebnovel.co. Time flew by and 100 days passed in a blink of an eye. Sitting within the practice room of his dormitory, Yang Feng slowly opened his eyes, and powerful life force fluctuations slowly seeped out of his body. His eyes flashed with joy and he willed, "I've finally promoted to a level 1 apprentice warlock. Scan my body." Yang Feng, basic attributes, strength 3.7, agility 3.5, physique 3.6, spirit 4.2. Bloodline, Earthling waste. Soul aptitude, superior level 2. General evaluation classified as a level 4 life form. Yang Feng mused with some regret. Promoting to a level 1 warlock within 100 days. This result is considered to be excellent, although it still fell a bit short when compared to the geniuses. Physical constitution of apprentice warlocks was equivalent to that of knight rank expert, but with much higher spirit force. It wasn't so simple to be promote to an apprentice warlock. Among the students that joined the Warlock College Antalya at the same time as Yang Feng, there were also only 20+ students with superior level 5 soul aptitude or higher that promoted to level 1 apprentice warlocks within 100 days. The genius of the Fernandro family, Jessica, only spent 15 days to promote to an apprentice warlock. When she joined Warlock College Antalya, she already possessed advanced warrior rank physical constitution, which was how was able to promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock within 15 days. Fruobnov.com. Light. Yang Feng pointed and a sphere of light abruptly lit up in front of him and brightly illuminated the entire room. Light was the simplest level 0 spell and the easiest way to test if you have been promoted to a level 1 apprentice warlock. As long as you could cast the level 0 spell Light, then that meant that you possessed the lowest level of casting ability, promoted to a level 1 apprentice warlock, and took the first step towards exceeding the limitations of ordinary people as well as took the first step on the warlock path. Yang Feng curled the corners of his mouth, feeling very content. After promoting to an apprentice warlock, he felt his body brim with strength. When compared to his previous sub-health body, it was like day and night. Yang Feng assessed his battle prowess. With my current strength, even without a gun, I can easily get rid of a junior warrior. However, if I meet a knight rank expert, I won't be their opponent. Yang Feng was a knockoff apprentice warlock who reached the apprentice warlock rank by ingesting large quantities of elixirs. As he didn't went through rigorous battle drills nor life and death battles, his fighting strength was rather lacking. Princeling apprentice warlocks who have also rose to their rank by ingesting large quantities of elixirs possessed similar fighting strength to his. Although Yang Feng also practiced the basic sword art, basic blade art, and basic melee art, and even though he possessed the microchip's assistance, but his battle prowess couldn't compare to that of an expert who has promoted to the knight rank via bitter training. Now I can pass the test and join the inner court. Yang Feng got up and left the room. Inside the Warlock College Antalya's appraisal room for apprentice warlocks, two attractive girls sat behind the reception counter. The beautiful girl about 16 or 17 years old with short blue hair and wheat-colored skin, and full of youthful vigor complained to a fairly reticent-looking, beautiful girl about 18 or 19 years old with long brown hair. Anya, it's really boring here. We haven't seen anyone for half a day. If it wasn't for the salary 1 magic stone per month, then I really wouldn't want to come here. Can't you put the spell book down and chat with me? Anya put down the spell book in her hands. A look of anxiety in her eyes, she sighed faintly. Inna, we don't have much time. After entering the inner court, if we can't promote to a level 3 apprentice warlock within 6 years, then we'll have to leave the college. I don't want to go back, to have to comply with my family's arrangements, and become a tool used to forge alliances and be married off someone from a random warlock family. The competition within the Warlock College Antalya was fierce. Once you entered the inner court, if you didn't promote to a level 3 apprentice warlock within 6 years, then you would have to leave immediately. Only the excellent seedlings who could promote to a level 3 warlock within 6 years would be paid attention to and could continue to study at the Warlock College Antalya, and the college would put in even more resources into their grooming. It has been almost 4 years since Anya entered the inner court, yet she only just recently promoted to a level 2 apprentice warlock. To promote to a level 3 warlock within 2 years was nearly impossible. As such, the great pressure weighing down on her prompted her to use any opportunity to study. When Inna heard that, her pretty face turned pale, and she said dispiritedly in a bitter tone, "To promote to a level 3 apprentice warlock within 6 years, how can it be that simple? Only the Fernandro family's Jessica, Bond family's Cones, and Mexid family's Ryan, only those geniuses with level 6 soul aptitude are certain to promote to level 3 apprentice warlocks within 6 years. To students like us who only have level 4 soul aptitude, to promote to level 3 apprentice warlocks within 6 years is just too difficult." Anya sighed once again. At this moment, Yang Feng entered the appraisal room. On Inna's welled up a professional smile. "Hello, this is the Warlock College Antalya's appraisal room for apprentice warlocks. Have you come to be appraised as an apprentice warlock?" Yang Feng spoke with a slight smile. "That's right. I am Yang Feng." "What? You're Yang Feng? The Steel City's only successor Yang Feng?" Shocked, Inna's eyes flickered with surprise. The eyes of Anya, who wore a professional smile, flashed with astonishment. The Steel City's sole successor Yang Feng's soul aptitude was only at inferior level 1. Practically the whole Warlock College Antalya was aware of this fact. According to common sense, someone with such a soul aptitude would never be able to promote to an apprentice warlock. Yet now Yang Feng came to be appraised as an apprentice warlock, which was simply inconceivable. Yang Feng responded faintly, "That's right." Inna spoke apologetically to Yang Feng. "I'm really sorry for forgetting myself. Please cast a 0-level spell." "Light!" Yang Feng reached out with his hand, and then a sphere of light shone in front of him. Inna nodded and said, "Indeed, a level 0 spell. Please provide the report for the continent's common language, the basic god language, the basic dragon language, the basic fiend language, the basic elven language, the basic study of planes, the basic mathematics, the basic geometry, the basic biology, the basic botany, the basic elementology, and the Turandot Subcontinent's modern history. These basic courses focused mainly on memory. With the major cheating device smart eyeglasses, Yang Feng easily got excellent marks in all of those courses. Inna carefully checked the report provided, and then uttered with a faint smile, "Please wait a moment." Before long, Inna handed Yang Feng a gray robe with a copper thread on the cuffs. This apprentice warlock robe has been enchanted with the level 0 decontamination. In the outside world, it is worth more than 300 gold coins. After you promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock, one such robe will be given to you for free. Chapter 54 Soul Aptitude and Warlock Path Choices. Chapter 54 Soul Aptitude and Warlock Path Choices. Translator, Zayamoj. Any alchemy item related to warlocks was unreasonably expensive. Despite not having any defensive ability, nor looking particularly impressive, the apprentice warlock robe was worth 300 gold coins. Ordinary people simply couldn't afford it. Anya suddenly said, Yang Feng, if you really desire to tread further on the warlock path, I recommend you look for the book, Soul Aptitude and Warlock Path Choices. Yang Feng responded with a faint smile. Then give me a copy of Soul Aptitude and Warlock Path Choices, as well as a copy of all the spell books with level 0 spells. The Black Cottage also had a lot of spell books with level 0 spells. However, the Black Cottage's spell books definitely couldn't compare to those of the Warlock College Antalya. Yang Feng, who had now deep pockets, didn't worry about magic stones. A blush welled up on Ina's pretty face, and her voice became a lot more gentle. Soul Aptitude and Warlock Path Choices is 500 magic stones per copy. Spellbooks with level 0 spells are 20 magic stones per copy. There are 752 different level 0 spellbooks here. That would be a total of 11,940 magic stones. Ordinary apprentice warlocks were generally very stingy, only buying one spell book at a time. Furthermore, they specially chose those spell books that were useful to them, and basically wouldn't buy any unnecessary spell books. While the apprentice warlocks who were supported by warlock families didn't care about level 0 spells. Ina was here for so long, yet this was the first time that she encountered such a big deal. She could get a commission of 1,000th of the deal. With this deal, she and Anya could get 12 magic stones. It naturally made her very excited. Yang Feng fished out a crystal card, inserted it into a box engraved with odd runes, and entered the sum to pay, and 11,940 magic stones were deducted at once. Ina's voice became increasingly sweet as she spoke. Do you want to pick the items now, or should we deliver them to you tonight? Yang Feng answered, Deliver them to my dormitory tonight. Ina said softly, Okay. Yang Feng turned around and left the appraisal room for apprentice warlocks. Looking at Yang Feng's back with jealousy and envy, Ina gave a faint sigh. To promote to an apprentice warlock in 100 days, in just a 100 days, the Steel Lord backing him is really wealthy. His life is so good. A gleam of defiance flickered past Anya's beautiful eyes, and she uttered in a low voice, Indeed, if only I had 100th of his resources, then the promotion to a level 3 apprentice warlock wouldn't be an issue. The most important factor restricting the progress of these apprentice warlocks was magic stones. The purchase of a magic stone required 135 gold coins, while 3 magic stones were worth 405 gold coins. This huge sum of money was equivalent to the accumulated wealth of several generations of a countryside lesser aristocrat like Zhao Jiang. Ina and Anya came from warlock families, but their families support them with only 10 magic stones per year. One level 0 spell book cost 20 magic stone. A year's worth of their hard work might allow them to redeem only 2 level 0 spell books. Moreover, once you promoted to an apprentice warlock, in order to buy a variety of bodies of knowledge from the teachers, you would have to pay a large sum of magic stones. It was extremely difficult to get by in the world of warlocks without any magic stones. For Ina and Anya, who came from small warlock families, the level 0 spells they used came all from the spellbook inheritances of their families, so they didn't have to purchase them from the Warlock College Antalya. But even if they carefully planned things out, the cost of buying a variety of bodies of knowledge was still overwhelming. Every year, 1/10 of the student in the Warlock College Antalya's outer court would get eliminated. The principal cause behind this was that they short on money and were unable to study a variety of bodies of knowledge. In the inner court, in the same fashion, a large number of apprentice warlocks were eliminated due to a lack of magic stones. This content is taken from fgariebnovel.com. There was a proverb in the world of warlocks. Although magic stones weren't everything, but you cannot do without them. Yang Feng has attracted countless gazes when he entered the Warlock College Antalya's outer court dressed in an apprentice warlock robe. It was very rare for an apprentice warlock to appear in the outer court. As inner court elites, apprentice warlocks were fundamentally very busy. They were busy studying all kinds of bodies of knowledge and earning magic stones. As such, very rarely would they go to the outer court. That's Steel City's Yang Feng. He actually promoted to an apprentice warlock. How could that be? Wasn't his sole aptitude only at inferior level 1? How can he practice cultivation so quickly? How could you practice cultivation with an inferior level 1 sole aptitude so quickly? He joined the Warlock College Antalya less than 4 months ago. In order to promote to an apprentice warlock, how many precious elixirs did he had to consume? The Steel Lord must really care about him. Yang Feng has become somewhat of a celebrity. In the Warlock College Antalya's outer court, there was hardly anyone who didn't know of him. Now that they saw him having promoted to an apprentice warlock, the outer court students were brimming with jealousy and envy. As long as one wasn't a fool, they could easily realize that the reason why Yang Feng could promote to an apprentice warlock within such a short period of time with his inferior level 1 soul aptitude was because he consumed copious amounts of precious elixir. In fact, a vial of blue Mirage Banshee elixir was priced at around 5,000 magic stones. Moreover, there was demand but no supply. If he hadn't ingested large quantities of blue Mirage Banshee elixir, Yang Feng basically wouldn't be able to promote to a level 1 apprentice warlock in such a short time. While the other students were fighting for a few magic stones, Yang Feng has already consumed more than 250,000 magic stones worth of elixir. 250,000 magic stones were enough to allow an apprentice warlock with superior level 5 soul aptitude to easily promote all the way until a level 1 warlock. As such, after consuming such large quantities of resources, it was normal for him to promote to an apprentice warlock. Amid the gazes filled with envy and jealousy, Yang Feng returned to his dormitory. After Gars, Bella, Irina, and Luca got the information, they immediately hurried towards Yang Feng's dormitory. Staring at Yang Feng with a complicated look in his eyes, feeling all kinds of mixed emotions in his heart, Gars congratulated Yang Feng. Congratulations on promoting to an apprentice warlock and becoming an inner court elite. Bella and the others also stared at Yang Feng with complicated looks in their gazes. Inferior level 1 soul aptitude was more than 100 times worse than theirs. For the cultivation rate of such a waste to pull so far ahead of theirs, he must have ingested top-notch elixirs. Yang Feng asked, "Where's Leal?" Gars spoke faintly. "He's dead. He died to a freak's curse during a mission." The eyes of Bella and the others shimmered gloomily. The Warlock College Antalya's tuition fee was high, and the various bodies of knowledge required large quantities of gold coins to be purchased. As a lot of lesser aristocrats simply couldn't afford such expenses, they could only accept some missions to earn gold coins. The high tuition fee was like a natural barrier that stopped a lot of ordinary people as well as a lot of lesser aristocrats from treading on the warlock path. If Yang Feng had holed himself up in the Autumn Leaf Village, then he would never have been able to set foot on the warlock path. Chapter 55, Inner Court. Chapter 55, Inner Court. Translator, Zayamoj. After a small celebratory dinner, Yang Feng went to his study, then fished out the copy of Soul Aptitude and Warlock Path Choices and read it carefully. The more he read, the more serious was Yang Feng's expression. After a long time, Yang Feng put down the book and slowly sighed, a gloomy expression on his face. "So if your soul aptitude hasn't reached inferior level 4, then it's impossible to promote to an official level 1 warlock via Orthodox Warlock secret methods. Orthodox Warlock secret methods continuously strengthened your physical constitution and raised your spirit force at the apprentice warlock stage. After your physical constitution reached the limit of tolerance, the soul force will be condensed and a spirit sea with a soul seed as the core will be formed in the sea of knowledge. Moreover, a level 1 spell model will be formed in the spirit sea, and you'll gain an innate spell that can be released in the wink of an eye. Once the spirit sea with a soul seed as the core was formed, apprentice warlocks would turn into official level 1 warlocks. Under the nourishment of the spirit sea, their soul will thrive and grow. After their soul force was strengthened, Warlocks could continue to strengthen their physical constitution, lengthen their lifespan, and evolve in the direction of extraordinary life forms. Unlike other planes wizards, magi, and the like, the Turandot Subcontinent's warlocks' fleshly bodies were formidable, and could compare to that of many extraordinary life forms. If you promoted to a level 1 warlock, then even if you didn't use any defensive spells, pistol bullets would be unable to penetrate your body. While the fleshly bodies of pinnacle level 1 warlocks were strengthened to the point that even rifle bullets wouldn't be able to penetrate them. The reason why the powerful level 1 warlocks and level 2 warlocks were disposed of by Yang Feng was because his mechanical legion was too large in numbers and too strong. Without an inferior level for soul aptitude, the soul force will be too weak, and the soul won't be unable to condense into a soul seed. If you forced the process, then only death would await you. Yang Feng spoke gravely. 3796. Carry out an analysis. With the Mermaid Tears elixir, what's the highest level that my soul aptitude can promote to? Begin modeling. Carrying out the analysis. The result will be derived after 10 seconds. Analysis completed. The highest level that Master's soul aptitude can reach by using Mermaid Tears elixir is superior level 3. Yang Feng's eyebrows furrowed, and he murmured, "Superior level 3? What about Siren Tears? Can it be synthesized?" The current analysis progress is at 24.5%. Can't be synthesized. Yang Feng frowned and mused. Blue Mirage Banshee elixir and Mermaid Tears elixir? Relatively speaking, they were among the most ordinary elixirs capable of promoting one's soul aptitude in the Turandot Subcontinent. Apart from these, there aren't any more easy-to-get soul aptitude strengthening elixirs. Do I really have to tread the bloodline warlock path? The orthodox warlock path rejected a lot of people with a lacking soul aptitude. Prior to the Second Warlock Dynasty, there were only orthodox warlocks in the world. The Second Warlock Dynasty's founder, the Taboo Lord, was someone with only an inferior level 3 soul aptitude. When he was still weak, the Taboo Lord exchanged knowledge with formidable existences from other planes, then transplanted the bloodline of a powerful life form and broke the myth that people with lacking soul aptitude were unable to promote to warlocks. The Taboo Lord strengthened himself step by step via taboo research, and then finally founded the Second Warlock Dynasty. From the times of the Taboo Lord, the bloodline warlock path has become very popular, becoming one of the 2 mainstream warlock paths. In addition to the orthodox warlock path and the bloodline warlock path, there were still other paths that enabled you to promote to an official warlock. For instance, you could carry out a transaction with powerful existences from other planes such as devils, fiends, and gods. The other party forcefully increase your soul aptitude, and you could promote to a warlock in one fell swoop. However, by doing so, you would most likely be reduced to the other party's puppet, and their many residual aftereffects. After a moment of thought, Yang Feng chose to give up on such a method. The bloodline warlock path was also not without issues. To become a bloodline warlock, the first step required the bloodline of a formidable life form. In order to become a dragon bloodline warlock, you would need to slay 3 dragons and extract their bloodline essence. After adding various precious materials to the blood essence and refining the solution, only then could you refine a vial of dragon bloodline essence that could be transplanted. The second step required you to practice a secret method compatible with the bloodline. Without the corresponding secret method, even if you have a bloodline essence, you still won't be able to use it. However, once you became a bloodline warlock, your cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds. Virtually without encountering any bottlenecks, you could practice cultivation all the way until the evolution potential of the bloodline lifeform was depleted. In general, a mature white dragon possessed great warlock rank battle prowess. If you transplanted the bloodline extracted from a white dragon, then once you became a great warlock, the evolution potential will be depleted, and you won't be unable to advance any further. Yang Feng mused. Without the bloodline essence of a peak life form, then even if I obtained the cultivation secret method, it would be useless. No wonder Blitz so readily agreed to allow me to choose a secret method that could be practiced until the great warlock rank. Even if I got the secret method, it won't be of any use. If I'm willing to just become a level 1 or level 2 warlock, I could randomly hunt some level 1 or level 2 warlock rank extraordinary life forms and extract their bloodline essence. Visit freowebnovel.com for the Est-Envel reading experience. After truly setting a foot on the Warlock path, only then did Yang Feng discover how important aptitude was. His inferior level 1 soul aptitude was indeed too horrible. If he had started out with a superior level 3 soul aptitude, then he wouldn't have to worry about it. The Warlock College Antalya only accepted the students that at least possessed a level for soul aptitude because only they might be able to promote to a level 1 warlock. Only they were worthy of being groomed. Freebnovel.cm. The small forces of the Turandot Subcontinent would accept some students with a level 2 or level 3 soul aptitude to be groomed into apprentice warlocks, and then make use of them for some odd jobs, not taking them seriously. The next morning, the door of Yang Feng's dormitory was knocked on. Yang Feng opened the door and discovered that standing outside was Anya. Anya spoke with a slight smile. "Hello, Yang Feng. I am Anya. I'll be your guide for the inner court." Yang Feng responded with a polite smile. "Sorry for troubling you. As the place where apprentice warlocks as well as a lot of official level 1 warlocks dwelt, the inner court had many taboos. After an outer court student was promoted to an apprentice warlock, an inner court student would be sent to welcome the new inner court student. At the junction of the inner court and outer court, there was a gate, and before the gate lied a huge wolf-shaped rock. When Anya reached before the huge wolf-shaped rock, she said respectfully, "Hello, Sir Dulimuk. This is Yang Feng, who has just promoted to an apprentice warlock." Chapter 56, Moloch Wolf. Chapter 56, Moloch Wolf. Translator, Zayamoj. That a huge wolf-shaped rock opened its eyes, and a pair of white stone sphere eyes swept Yang Feng with a glance. Continuing to lie prone, it spoke coldly. "I've already committed to memory the scent of his soul. Take him in." Moloch Wolf was the scientific name of the huge wolf-shaped rock extraordinary life form Earthling. This extraordinary life form's body was a very high-quality rock. No matter if it was magical resistance or physical resistance, both were terrific. Adult Moloch wolves possessed terrifying battle prowess comparable to pinnacle level 3 warlocks. Additionally, they possessed a formidable racial innate skill, which enabled them to smell the scent of any person's soul. Within the world of warlocks, there were all kinds of strange spells that could change, warp, or mask your true features. However, the scent of a soul couldn't be altered. Apart from some special experts, even great warlock rank experts couldn't compare with Moloch wolves in terms of identifying the scent of souls. With the Moloch wolf guarding in front of this gate, anyone who wanted to sneak into the Warlock College Antalya's inner court by changing their facial features would find it extremely difficult. Yang Feng bowed towards the Moloch wolf. "Greetings, Sir Dulimuk." The lifespan of humans was very short. A human official level 1 warlock's lifespan was around 200 to 300 years. A level 2 warlock's lifespan was around 300 to 400 years. A level 3 warlock's lifespan was around 400 to 500 years. Only a great warlock's lifespan could exceed 1,000 years. As for extraordinary life forms such as Moloch wolves, they required 400 years just to mature, while their lifespans were thousands of years long. This adult Moloch wolf was also an intelligent extraordinary life form, and its status in the Warlock College Antalya was very high, even comparable to that of an elder. Yang Feng didn't dare to slight such an extraordinary life form. Dulimuk didn't budge. It just lay there still like an ordinary statue. Anya took Yang Feng through the gate that separated the outer court from the inner court and entered the inner court. When they entered the inner court, Yang Feng felt that the concentration of elemental particles in the air here surpassed that of the outer court by far. After studying hard these days, Yang Feng already understood the fundamental principles of warlock cultivation. Warlocks practice cultivation by using special methods to absorb all kinds of drifting elemental particles, and to strengthen their physical constitution as well as nourish their soul forces. Soul force was the most fundamental source power of an extraordinary life form. Once your soul force was unable to be upgraded, it meant that your body could no longer continue to evolve. The key step for an apprentice warlock promoting to an official warlock was to condense a soul seed, then, with the soul seed act as the core, establish a spirit seed, break through the limits of the human body, and evolve towards an extraordinary life form. By then, you can solidify a level 1 innate spell in your Spirit Sea. The formidable elemental particles were very beneficial to strengthening your physical constitution as well as nourishing your soul. In the inner court, the Warlock College Antalya used a variety of extraordinary means to increase the concentration of elemental particles. In this environment, your cultivation rate will be tens of times higher than in the outer court. The Black Cottage possessed a 3-story tall Warlock Tower. Inside the Warlock Tower, only the elemental pool as well as the core cultivation room possessed a slightly higher density of elemental particles than the inner court. It deserves to be one of the 6 cultivation holy lands in the Turandot Subcontinent. It's really deserving of its reputation. Yang Feng operated the magic note's Titan art and sensed the formidable energy enter his body, making him feel very comfortable. There were numerous Warlock Towers located inside the inner court of the Warlock College Antalya, with every Warlock Tower being 4 stories tall. The construction of a Warlock Tower was very costly. Generally speaking, some small Warlock families were fundamentally unable to construct a Warlock Tower. As for the Black Cottage, it took it several generations' worth of effort and expenses to build a Warlock Tower. Moreover, it was only a 3-story tall Warlock Tower, which was a far cry from the Warlock College Antalya's Warlock Towers. Yang Feng made a rough count and discovered that the Warlock Towers numbered in the hundreds. This content is taken from freewebnovel.cm. The hundreds of Warlock Tower formed an indistinct, mysterious formation around 9 7-story tall Warlock Towers. In the center of the Warlock Tower, the enormous ancient energy-absorbing tree pierced straight into the sky. The branches and leaves of the ancient energy-absorbing tree radiated a faint light. In the Warlock College Antalya, they're also bound to be precious elixirs capable of upgrading one's soul aptitude. However, such precious elixirs must be small in numbers, and they should be in the hands of level 3 Warlocks or Great Warlocks. Unless I conquer the Warlock College Antalya, I'm basically incapable of getting hold of them. Inside Warlock Towers, Warlocks were able to resist enemies that were stronger by a rank. If there are Great Warlocks standing guard in the Warlock College Antalya, then my Mechanical Legion's odds are currently really too low. My forces will have to expand by tens of times. Yang Feng creased his eyebrows tightly as he mused. He was already doing his utmost to develop the mineral resources in his territory. Under the unbridled mining, the Black Rock Town's mineral resources have already begun to dry up. He was trying to purchase iron ore everywhere he could, as well as searching for new sources of mineral resources in his territory. Even so, his production of raw materials was far from meeting his production capacity. Within his territory, the Mechanical Legion was already very large in number, but he still didn't have any certainty that he could prevail over the Warlock College Antalya. The further he trod on the Warlock path, the better he perceived the power of high-level Warlocks. Yang Feng exclaimed within, "Unfortunately, all the territories have currently masters. Furthermore, they all have great Warlocks backing them from the shadows. It's too difficult to expand." In the Turandot Subcontinent, each territory had its master. Although these territories were controlled by some Warlock families or small forces, but all of them had great Warlock forces backing them from the shadows. For Yang Feng, establishing the Steel City was already his limit. The Warlock College Antalya has already begun to suppress his expansion. Unless he attacked the territory of the Savage Claw, it was difficult to expand. But the Savage Claw was a bit more powerful than the Warlock College Antalya. He didn't want to randomly antagonize such a formidable force. Yang Feng mused. In the Turandot Subcontinent, the fertile lands were already occupied. I can think of ways to occupy some barren regions. Solar energy, hydroelectric power, thermal power, wind power, and even nuclear power, all of them could be exploited. But that will have to wait until I finished my Warlock studies. In 3790 SIXS technology tree, nuclear power wasn't too advanced of a technology. It was already possible to manufacture large nuclear power plants. However, to build large nuclear power plants would still require a series of prerequisite technological structures such as heavy water refineries. At present, a variety of prerequisite structures were being built in Yang Feng's territory. Within a year, he could manufacture large nuclear power plants as well as nuclear warheads. Chapter 57 Humiliation. Chapter 57 Humiliation. Translator, Zayamoj. Anya explained with detail the various taboos in the Warlock College Antalya's inner court as she took Yang Feng towards a warlock tower. She gently knocked on a door and said, "Teacher Eunice, I brought Yang Feng. Come in." The door opened and a voice brimming with magnetism sounded. Yang Feng stepped inside, where he saw the mesmerizing and stunning Eunice dressed in a blue low-cut dress languidly reclining on a sofa wrapped in tiger fur. Slender and beautiful legs extended from the dress, reflecting a beautiful gloss. She was browsing a book in her hands. New novel chapters are published on freewebnovel.com. A gorgeous girl with a pair long and pointy ears, fair skin, and a fiery figure was massaging Eunice's calf. The gorgeous girl's was an elf. An elf. There was a fragrance in the room. Coupled with the beautiful scenery, it stirred Yang Feng's heart. He immediately removed his gaze and lowered his head, not daring to look in Eunice's direction. This was the headquarters of the Warlock College Antalya. If Yang Feng made the wrong move, Eunice could casually give him a slap and kill him. Although the Steel Lord's reputation could frighten and threaten such small warlock families like the Sanger family, but it was useless against colossi such as the Warlock College Antalya. Elves weren't native to the Turandot Subcontinent. They were captured and brought back by warlocks from other planes. After years of excessive capture and killing, the number of purebred elves was very small. Once discovered, they will become playthings of bigwigs. For Eunice to possess a pureblood elf, her power exceeded that of an ordinary level 1 warlock by far. Eunice swept Yang Feng with a bewitching gaze as smiled lightly. "Yang Feng, so it's you. It seems that Steel City's Yang Yi truly doesn't spare any expenses to nurture you. He actually used blue Mirage Banshee elixir to raise you to an apprentice warlock." When he heard the bewitching and sweet voice, his blood boiled unconsciously and his lust erupted. He was almost unable to control himself. At this moment, Yang Feng's level 1 secret treasure green heart released a soothing power that entered his body and suppressed his carnal lust, allowing him to regain his calm. Was this a charm spell? Or does her bloodline possess a charming ability? When Yang Feng recovered his reason, he broke out into a cold sweat on his back that drenching his clothing. He could well imagine it. Once he succumbed to his lust and did something stupid, that would be it for him. His eyebrows creased and his heart shook, and he felt puzzled. What happened? I've never offended her. Why does she has such malicious towards me? Eunice swept the position of the green heart with a glance and frowned, and then took out 2 crystal balls and said with a chilly voice, "Every student that enters the inner court, they have 1 chance to get a free body of knowledge. I'm proficient in variation biology and extraordinary botany. Choose one." Yang Feng's eyebrows creased. Variation biology and extraordinary botany were too high-end for apprentice warlocks. For them, the basic courses theory of magic and analysis of level 0 spell models were the best. Only official warlocks had the qualifications to research variant life forms and extraordinary plants. The majority of variant life forms and extraordinary plants possessed strength comparable to that of official warlocks, and only official warlock were capable of subduing and researching them. Yang Feng's thoughts revolved lightning fast, and he made a choice. I choose extraordinary botany. First-rate elixirs involved a lot of precious extraordinary plants. Besides, extraordinary botany was one of the prerequisite courses for intermediate pharmacology. Only pharmacists who grasped intermediate pharmacology could refine elixirs such as Blue Mirage Banshee elixir and Mermaid Tears elixir. With a flick of Eunice's fingers, a crystal ball shattered, and a plant-like green smoke flew out of the crystal ball and entered Yang Feng's forehead. Countless information and data turned into a huge information stream that fiercely assaulted Yang Feng's head, which nearly burst. Tumbling to the ground, he struggled in pain and couldn't help issuing anguished howls. Freeweb novel. Fam. Ha. Watching as Yang Feng tumbled to the ground and struggled in pain, Eunice issued an enchanting and cheerful laugh. Simultaneously, she placed her hand inside the clothing of the elf and played around. The beautiful elf issued moans capable of making people blush and their hearts palpitate. Fuck! I'm going to be played to death by this crazy bitch. Enduring the acute pain in his head, Yang Feng crushed a woodchip in his pocket. Streams of black smoke burst out from the woodchip and condensed into an owl that filled the air with formidable fluctuations of power. The owl's eyes swept Yang Feng rolling on the ground in pain with a glance and parted its beak. And Eutarax's voice sounded, "Eunice, did this fellow violate the college's rules or offend you?" The careless look on her face retreated, and Eunice uttered flatly, "I was merely teasing him. Eutarax, are you this guy's nanny?" Eutarax responded coldly, "His uncle Yang Yi is my good friend. I don't want to see something like this happen ever again." Eunice sneered defiantly and said, "And if it were to happen? He's just a waste, and even his uncle is a waste who can only linger at the pinnacle level 1 warlock rank." Eutarax spoke indifferently, "If this happens again, then I'll report everything to the Council of Elders and appeal for a reduction of your share of resources." "Humph!" Eunice creased her eyebrows, then waved her hand, and a strange fluctuation of power enveloped Yang Feng. His severe headache subsided, and he clenched his teeth and stood up. Eunice's beautiful eyes flashed coldly, and she waved her hand and said, "Beat it!" Resisting his resentment, Yang Feng bowed towards Eunice, and then left. In front of an official warlock, a mere level 1 apprentice warlock was but an ant. "How did you offend your teacher?" As soon as he left Eunice's warlock tower, Eutarax possessing the owl asked. Yang Feng answered with a bitter smile, "I don't know." In the Warlock College Antalya, apart from his outburst when he was admitted, he spent the rest of the time studying various bodies of knowledge. He had practically no dealings with Eunice. As such, he couldn't figure out why this woman would target him. "That woman isn't simple. Don't ever provoke her. Otherwise, won't be able to protect you. You still have one more chance for me to help you. Take note of it." Eutarax possessing the owl warned Yang Feng, and then gradually disintegrated and turned into ashes. Chapter 58 Promotion to a Level 3 Apprentice Warlock. Chapter 58 Promotion to a Level 3 Apprentice Warlock. Translator, Zayamoj. What a vicious woman. Sooner or later you'll pay for today. Yang Feng gave Eunice's warlock tower a deep look, and a chilly gleam flickered deep within his eyes, and then he turned around and left. After entering the inner court, Yang Feng was busy studying various bodies of knowledge every day. In the inner court, some official warlocks gave free public basic courses every day. As for the precious knowledge, a lot of magic stones were required to be exchanged for. In order to obtain knowledge, many inner court students would do missions, and then exchange the earned magic stones for knowledge and cultivation resources. With the Steel City's wealth to support, Yang Feng had no lack of magic stones. He eagerly studied and digested a variety of knowledge every day. He was well aware that his aptitude was far behind that of the Turandot Subcontinent's geniuses. And even though he had the help of the superintelligent robot 3796, he still had to strive hard to be able to catch up to those geniuses. Time passed, and it was a year later in the blink of an eye. Within a practice room, Yang Feng opened his eyes and said in a deep voice, "Scan my physical constitution. Begin scanning." Yang Feng, basic attributes, Strength 8.1, Agility 8.5, Physique 8.7, Spirit 9.2. Bloodline, Earthling Waste. Soul Aptitude, Superior Level 3. General Evaluation, classified as a Level 6 life form. Evolution potential has been exhausted. Warning: the host's physical constitution has reached the limit. Continuing to ingest the high-energy physical constitution-strengthening elixir Dragon Blood Elixir will instead be detrimental to the body. Yang Feng frowned and forced a smile. Sure enough, even the top Dragon Blood Elixir won't be able to promote my physical constitution any longer. During the past year, Yang Feng has consumed the precious Dragon Blood Elixir and Mermaid Tears Elixir in order to promote continuously. And he even surpassed the geniuses Jessica with superior level 6 soul aptitude and promoted to a level 3 apprentice warlock. However, his evolution path was already severed, and common resources and elixirs were simply unable to let him promote to an official level 1 warlock. Yang Feng grabbed a piece of iron and used his force to knead it, and the piece of iron immediately deformed. The corners of his mouth curved into a smile. Nevertheless, my current physical constitution is far beyond what it once was. Even without using magic, a casual punch from me can kill a knight-rank expert. When he has just transmigrated into the Turandot Subcontinent, Yang Feng couldn't even defeat a peasant. Now, however, his physical constitution was more than 10 times stronger, and his battle prowess was upgraded by more than 100 times. With the improvement of his physique, Yang Feng's learning ability has also increased. He could distinctly feel that his learning ability has increased by more than 10 times. The comprehension ability of Warlocks increase along with their evolution. Each upgrade in rank was accompanied by large transformations in physical constitution, learning ability, and other aspects. Due to this, it was very difficult for lower-rank Warlocks to prevail over higher-rank Warlocks. At this moment, a robot standing beside him spoke with a synthetic voice. "Master, Ina and Anya request to see you." Yang Feng responded flatly. "Take them to the living room to wait for me." "Yes." Yang Feng went to a bathroom for a hot bath and a change clothes, and then went to the living room. When Anya and Ina saw Yang Feng, they felt a strong life force fill his body that completely suppressed their life force, and they realized that he is promoted to a level 3 apprentice warlock. Anya's beautiful eyes flashed with mixed emotion. Her voice was laced with jealousy. "Yang Feng, congratulations on promoting to a level 3 apprentice warlock." There was a flash of jealousy in Ina's eyes, yet she said flatteringly, "Astounding! Yang Feng, your rate of improvement is really astounding. Your progress is the quickest from your batch of students." A year ago, Anya and Ina were already level 2 apprentice warlocks. A year later, they were still level 2 apprentice warlocks, and their progress was very faint. Yang Feng smiled and responded modestly, "I was just lucky." When converted to magic stone, the various resource that Yang Feng has spent during the past year would be enough to let a level 1 apprentice warlock with a superior level for soul aptitude to promote to an official level 1 warlock. As such, it was no wonder that he has promoted to a level 3 apprentice warlock. Update D from Frubnov.com. Anya spoke gravely with a serious expression on her face. "Yang Feng, have you heard of golden blood?" Startled, Yang Feng's eyes congealed, and he said in a deep voice, "Golden blood? Do you mean Aurum blood essence that can purify your soul and upgrade you soul aptitude?" Aurums were a race that the founder of the second Warlock Dynasty, the Taboo Lord, discovered when colonizing other planes. Aurum blood essence possessed the mysterious power to purify a person's soul and upgrade their soul aptitude. After nearly slaughtering all of the Aurum experts and extracting their blood essence, the Taboo Lord has significantly upgraded his soul aptitude. When he broke his curse of a low soul aptitude, he advanced by leaps and bounds on the Warlock path, and then finally founded the second Warlock Dynasty and became one of the 10 strongest people of this plane since the beginning of time. Fruyobnul.com. Due to its miraculous effect, Aurum blood essence has naturally attracted the greed of countless warlocks. After a long period of time, the Aurums were practically exterminated, while the Aurum remnants left their original plane, scattered and hid in the various planes, and became existences that could only be found through good fortune. In the Turandot Subcontinent, within the last thousands of years, only one vial of golden blood has emerged in an auction. It was a treasure for which even great warlocks would go crazy. "That's right. It's that legendary golden blood." Anya nodded her head, and then continued. "When I traveled through the obscure mountain range, I obtained information on a relic. This relic was the headquarters of a mid-level warlock organization of the third Warlock Dynasty called Gloom Cave. The golden blood that appeared last time in an auction came precisely from the Gloom Cave's relic. There's a very high possibility of finding golden blood in the Gloom Cave's headquarters. After all, although golden blood was precious during the era of the third Warlock Dynasty, but it wasn't as rare as it is now." Yang Feng's eyebrows wrinkled, and he said in a deep voice, "The ruins of the Gloom Cave's headquarters? Such a place, if full of dangers, it's not a place that apprentice warlocks can investigate. Level 3 warlocks were fearsome, extraordinary life forms. As long as they didn't restrain their life force, then even a bit of it leaking out coupled with rich energy particles could form various strange phenomena. If ordinary people entered a dwelling of a level 3 warlock, then they would die without the shadow of a doubt. As mid-level organization in the Third Warlock Dynasty, the Gloom Cave definitely had great Warlock experts keeping watch. This relic was surely filled with dangers. It wasn't a place that ordinary apprentice Warlocks could explore, and even level 1 Warlocks would find it very dangerous. Chapter 59, Purchasing Spell Models. Chapter 59, Purchasing Spell Models. Translator, Zayamoj. Anya's eyes flashed with an incandescent as she spoke. The Gloom Cave's headquarters naturally isn't a place that we can explore. However, if we just explore its surroundings, then the obtained resources will be enough to let us promote to Warlocks. Yang Feng muttered for a moment, then a queer glint shimmered deep within his eyes, and he uttered with a smile, "Fine, I'll join you." Anya said, "Yang Feng, since you agree to join our team to carry out the exploration, then you mustn't disclose this information to anyone else. Even if it's your uncle Yang Yi, you still can't tell him. Otherwise, with an official Warlock joining the exploration, we won't be able to enjoy the resources there." Yang Feng's eyebrows wrinkled, and he sunk into his thoughts. Ina complimented promptly, "Let's first explore once, then you can tell your uncle about the relic. Anyway, after this time, we'll also tell our teacher about the relic." Yang Feng's eyes flashed with an enigmatic gleam as he spoke. "Very well. I won't tell my uncle about it." After discussing the details for a while, the two girls left. The sourk of this content is formidable.cm. Did it finally begun? They're so concerned about me. As Yang Feng watched the retreating back of the two girls, the look in his eyes gradually became cold, and he whispered, "It seems that I should get ready." Yang Feng quickly arrived at the Inner Courts Trading Hall. 5 magic stones for 1 kilogram of fire steel. Looking to buy necrotic ink for 20 magic stones. Selling my optimized level 0 spell model for 10 magic stones. I can explain the theory behind a level 0 spell of a certain field for 5 magic stones. freowebnovel.com. Inside the Inner Courts Trading Hall, there were many transaction notices posted in a corner. In the center of the trading hall sat a 31 or 32-year-old, blonde woman in an apprentice Warlock robe, with a fiery figure and a stunning appearance. Yang Feng went in front of the stunning beauty and said flatly, "I want to purchase level 1 spell models. How many do you have?" The blonde beauty glanced at Yang Feng. With a look of jealousy and envy in her eyes, she said softly, "Level 1 spell models, 8,000 magic stones per 1 basic spell model. Currently, there are 282 level 1 spell models. So expensive." Yang Feng immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. "So many level 1 spell models. That's the Warlock College Antalya for you. If the wealth the Steel City amassed every year was converted into magic stones, then it would be merely 3,000 magic stones. Yet the cost of 1 level 1 spell model was 8,000 magic stones. Such a huge sum of money caused the rich and overbearing Yang Feng to have a headache. The Fernandro family's war reparations was of 300,000 magic stones. During the past 2 years, Yang Feng has already spent 100,000 magic stones. After all, even though 3796 synthesized the Blue Mirage Banshee elixir, the Mermaid Tears elixir, the Dragon Blood elixir, and other elixirs, it still required the purchase of a lot of precious ingredients. Level 1 spell models were very precious. The Black Cottage only had 15 level 1 spell models, while the Warlock College Antalya had 282 level 1 spell models. Both forces were in different leagues. Almost any level 1 Warlock could find their favorite level 1 spell model in the Warlock College Antalya. Of course, 8,000 magic stones was also a huge sum of money for an official level 1 Warlock, let alone ordinary level 3 apprentice Warlocks. However, once a student of the Warlock College Antalya became a level 3 apprentice Warlock, there will be Warlock families wishing to recruit them. The Warlock College Antalya also provided loan contracts for the level 3 apprentice Warlock students. It was thanks to a variety of methods that the Warlock College Antalya was able to accumulate a great wealth and groom a number of great Warlock rank experts. Yang Feng silently analyzed, "With the Mechanical Legion, I don't have to worry about offensive power. What I lack most now is defensive spells, especially defensive spells against curses and incomprehensible phenomena." Yang Feng said, "Let me have a look at the introductions of the level 1 defensive spell models." The blonde beauty flicked her fingers, and light shot out from a rhombus-shaped crystal atop the table and formed a 3D-like projection of introductions in the air. Level 1 spell warping force field forms a warping force field around you capable of withstanding physical and magical attacks. It provides an intermediate physical and magical resistance. Level 1 spell Steel Skin turns your skin into steel. It provides a superior physical resistance and an inferior magical resistance. Level 1 spell Partially Undead partially turns the skin undead. It provides a superior physical resistance and an inferior magical resistance. Level 1 spell Fire Ring forms a ring of magical fire around you. It provides an inferior physical resistance, an intermediate magical resistance, and a superior magical resistance to the fire attribute. The introductions of defensive spells appeared before Yang Feng's eyes, and he silently entered them into the database via the eyeglasses. Yang Feng threw a magic stone into the blonde beauty's hand. "Please show me also the introductions of offensive spells. This is for your trouble." Flickering with delight, blonde beautiful woman flicked her fingers, and a light entered the rhombus-shaped crystal. That rhombus-shaped crystal flashed. The introductions to a variety of level 1 spells appeared in front of Yang Feng, and he recorded them into the database one at a time. Yang Feng quickly selected 20 spell models. "I want 20 level 1 spell models. Warping Force Field, Divination Perception, Divination Interference, Sanctity Dispelling, Magic Eye, Fireball, Storm Embrace, Micro Treatment, Dark Fog, Poison Dispelling, Low-Level Summon, Fire Ring, Fire Resistance, Brute Strength, Soul Eye, Shadow Hand, Frost, Stone into Mud, Rock Armor, Thunder Laser." That blonde, beautiful woman was startled. Then her smile became more and more sweet and intimate. "That would be a total of 160,000 magic stones." Ordinary apprentice warlocks would hesitate again and again before finally gnashing their teeth and purchasing one level 1 spell model. Yang Feng, who purchased 20 level 1 spell models at once, was simply a great customer. The blonde beauty would get a commission of 1,000th of the deal, which was 160 magic stones. Yang Feng took out a crystal card and paid the 160,000 magic stones. "This is a knowledge crystal. It has the 20 spell models recorded within." With a charming smile, the blonde, beautiful woman passed Yang Feng a red crystal. At the same time, she gave him a flirtatious look, extended her hand, and lightly tapped his palm, leaving a piece of paper on his hand, and then said with an ambiguous smile, "My name is Emma and this is my address. Come by to have some fun when you're free." The Turandot Subcontinent was fairly open-minded, and there were many aristocratic youngsters who had their first sexual experience with their maids when they were 13 or 14 years old. When aristocratic girls wanted to get married, they would improve their behavior a little. However, the number of aristocratic girls who led lives of debauchery after the wedding was large. In the Warlock College Antalya, female apprentice warlocks using their bodies in exchange for resources was quite a common occurrence. The reason why Emma could sit in this comfortable place to begin with was apparently because she paid a hefty price. Yang Feng put the slip of paper into his pocket, gave Emma a light smile, and turned and left the hall. Chapter 60 Obscure Mountain Range. Chapter 60 Obscure Mountain Range. Translator, Zayamoj. More than 10 kilometers to the west of the Warlock College Antalya, in a small inn on the edge of the road, there were 4 people sitting around a large table inside a big room. Among them, the 2 women were Anya and Inna. Of the other 2 people, one was a young man in a gray apprentice warlock robe with 3 copper threads on the cuffs, with eagle eyes and a hook nose. The young man exuded a bloody aura. The other person was a man built like a bear dressed in a gray apprentice warlock robe with 3 copper threads on the cuffs, with short blue hair and a claw scar on the left side of his face. The young man exuding a bloody aura stared at Anya with firmly creased eyebrows and said solemnly, "Anya, why did you invite him? He's just a waste with a good uncle. He only achieved his cultivation base through the accumulation of resources. In terms of battle prowess, he might not even be able to defeat a great knight. Such a fellow will only become a burden." Anya's eyebrows arched, and she responded, "Trucks. Pay attention to what you're saying. Have you forgotten the lesson that the idiot Bantanya was taught? Or do you want to become a second idiot? The matter with Bantanya has been widely spread within the Warlock College Antalya. Moreover, his name became synonymous with idiot and moron. It was precisely because of this that Yang Feng hasn't suffered any provocations in the Warlock College Antalya. Although the majority of the students were jealous and despised him for being a waste that quickly promoted by relying on his family's power, yet no one dared to say anything offensive to his face. Trux frowned slightly, clenched his fists tightly, stared at Anya with anger in his eyes and said coldly, "Anya, are going to snitch to that good-for-nothing? Can't our friendship stand to that waste? What's so good about him? Without his uncle, he is nothing. Trux, don't say another word." The man with a claw mark on the left side of his face spoke gravely. The man with the claw scar on his face had a fairly high status. With just a few words from him, Trux fell silent, yet his eyes still surged with anger and jealousy. There was a knock on the door. Ina went over and opened the door. With a head full of short black hair and an ordinary appearance, a young man dressed in a gray apprentice warlock robe with 3 copper threads on the cuffs walked into the room under the protection of 2 burly men built like a bear. The 2 men looked like they cast from a mold. The young man with the short black hair and an Asian appearance was Yang Feng. Anya swept the 2 male-looking guards next to Yang Feng with a glance, and her eyebrows arched, her beautiful eyes flashed with anger, and her voice carried a chill. "Yang Feng, have you spoken to others about the information on the ruins?" Trux had a smile of contempt on his face, and ridiculed, "Haha, I knew it would be like this. Yang Feng, you're such an untrustworthy young master. Anya, you were really foolish to invite such a fellow." The eyes of the man with the claw scar on his face congealed. After sizing the 2 guards beside Yang Feng up for some time, he said in a solemnly, "Such exquisite mechanical golems. If it weren't for the fact that they don't possess the aura of life, I would have also thought that they were humans." The reputation of the Steel City's Mechanical Golem Legion is well deserved. Mechanical golems? Taken aback, Anya's fury melted away, and she carefully examined the 2 robots beside Yang Feng. Her spirit fluctuations enveloped the 2 robots. After a while, a look of apology welled up on her face, saying, "Yang Feng, sorry for misunderstanding you." Humph! Trux gave a cold snort, and then turned silent. The man with the claw scar on his face took the initiative to speak. "I am Pierre. Yang Feng, I want to apologize for Trux and Anya, but please understand, this exploration is too important for us." Yang Feng responded with a smile. "It's okay," Pierre said. "Since everyone is present, then let's set off." Since no one objected, they left the inn. The obscure mountain range was located at the border between the 3 major powers Warlock College Antalya, Savage Claw, and Rose Garden. As it was poor in resources, and its environment was perilous, the 3 major powers didn't pay that piece of land any heed. Wanted criminals, human scum, strange non-human species, and those that couldn't make a living in the human society have gathered in this piece of land and formed small cities. The tavern's door was pushed open, and 7 youngsters dressed in adventurers' clothing came inside. It was Yang Feng and his party. Adventurers were strong and powerful people that ventured all over, completed missions, and earned money. Their social status was only slightly higher than that of peasants. By relying on their adventurer badges, they could travel all over. They flocked to places where money could be made. Unlike what a lot of people fantasized, the lives of adventurers were replete with dangers, betrayals, and death. A fairly valuable treasure might stir a group of adventurers to kill each other. freewebnovel.com. Up.dfrmfgewebnvel.com. Once they entered, Yang Feng saw the bustling scene inside the small tavern. There were many adventurers gulping down ale, eating roasted meat, and speaking loudly. Some vulgar adventurers even took liberties with women in public. When Anya and Ina saw this, their eyebrows creased. With their aristocratic background, they felt discomfort towards this scene. While looking for a table to sit at, Yang Feng's gaze fell on a maid, and his eyes revealed a look of interest, Is that a beast man? No, they should be rabbit man and human hybrids. Apart from the pair of rabbit ears on their heads, the petite maids looking practically no different from ordinary human women. Coupled with their blue or brown hair, they looked fairly beautiful. These women were called half-blood rabbit men, and they were the descendants of playthings that warlocks brought from another plane. Although half-blood rabbit men didn't possess much strength or evolution potential, but due to their petite figures and adorable looks, some warlocks liked to keep them as pets. Hey, beautiful. My name is Dolly. Do you want to have some fun with us? We'll give you 5 gold coins for one night. I can guarantee that you'll have a wonderful time. A big fellow wearing a leather armor and exuding a faint bloody aura walked over with large strides and spoke towards Anya with a grin, disregarding everything else. With her aristocratic background and beautiful looks, Anya looked like a swan within a flock of ducks in this small tavern. In addition to Anya, Inna was also quite beautiful. Countless gazes full of greed and desire focused on Yang Feng's group of people. We've reached the end of today's episode. Thank you for traversing the boundless landscapes of fantasy with us. If today's story has sparked joy within you, please remember to hit the like button, share our journey with others, and subscribe to Lord of the Stories for an ever-expanding collection of mystical escapades. Until we meet again to turn the page to a new adventure, hold the tales dear in your heart and let the embers of magic warmly glow in your spirit. Farewell, intrepid explorers of the narrative unknown.